Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's so good. All right. Well, now we're live. Fun stuff. You excited? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this.
I look better since I did my hair.
You look cute.
What do you think?
You look cute.
Are you married?
You look cute. I'm not married. I don't know where my wedding ring is.
Did you put on the dish in front of the TV?
I did not. I forgot that you created a dish in front of the TV specifically.
Do you remember when you would have to get a dish on your house? Or like the cool people with money got like giant fucking... Oh.
Well, the entire stream is now demonetized because...
Just stop it and start it over.
No, I'm not doing that. I already went live. Okay. Well, how disappointed are you right now?
I just don't even want to stream today. I haven't wanted to stream all day.
You haven't? Hey, everybody, what's up? You have been wanting to stream all day?
No.
Why?
Not at all.
I've been looking forward to it the entire day. Don't say that.
That's good.
That makes me genuinely upset.
I'm sorry.
I cannot believe you just did that. Well, it is what
I'm
it is.
such a bad person. I'm sorry.
Don't say bad words. Don't say bad words.
I'm not going to say any words.
Hey, what's up? How are you? How is everybody today? Baby, don't be that.
I'm literally
That's really
done. Hi, everybody.
My wife had the wind knocked out of her just now.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
She's a silly goose. But you were talking about people who in rich houses that have really nice bowls.
Yeah.
Like what, dishes? Like what, emerald or something? That's really what you're talking about? Are you okay? Are you all right?
Mm-hmm.
You're really upset.
I'm so upset.
I could tell. You okay? Are you really? Or are you just like trolling me right now?
No, I'm really upset.
Can we guess? That's all right. It's par for the course. The beginning of the stream is always it's always a little sussy. You just got off work. Very cool. We should have went on sooner so you'd be at work and then you had something to watch. That would have been so much more productive for you, I think. How's everybody doing? We're having an okay day. My wife is upset. What are you looking at me for like that? She's just okay. I have nobody to talk to now. This is the Robert Inn. You're just
so many people here to see you.
There's 4 people in the chat right now.
Yeah.
You're eating candy corn and watching Mom and Dad. Very pogger.
Do you like candy corn?
I actually like candy corn a lot.
Do you really? Do you like the little pumpkins?
I don't know what that is.
It's like candy corn, but they're pumpkins.
I've never even heard about it before.
There's no way.
No, maybe we should get them. Candy pumpkins. No, but I like candy corn. I feel like people give candy corn too much hate, but it's really good.
I can make candy corn fudge.
Yeah, the hugs thing on the top, the docket for today. Yeah, I think it should be towards the beginning. I forgot about
I think
that.
it is a stress thing. Look. Did you see it?
Yeah, you thought you were having a seizure.
I thought I was having a stroke.
A stroke. Oi, you thought you were having a
What was I stressed out about yesterday then?
Everything. You were stressed the whole day. You were just like, I'm stressed.
About what? I don't even know.
You were just stressing yesterday. I don't know. We went to Applebee's, then you had a diarrhea.
Did I?
You had a diarrhea at Applebee's.
I did.
You like, I have to go pee, and then you went into the bathroom and you just started.
I said, leave the restaurant, 911.
Yeah, and she started.
Take my stuff.
Yeah, I did.
Emergency diarrhea.
Because I didn't want to sit back down after I went to the bathroom. So I was just standing in the middle of the restaurant. And I was like, I feel like stupid. Watching over everybody, making them uncomfortable. So I was doing this, staring at everybody, making them uncomfortable. You know what's weird though? I want to talk about this like really briefly. It's not like a huge thing, but when we walked into the restaurant, to the Applebee's, there was a group of 4 like girls, like teenage girls, I guess they were. Did you internalize their existence?
Yeah, they were young.
And you two went. When we went out, I was with myself, my mother-in-law, and my wife, and they went through. And then I held the door open for the girls, and they said thank you, and I said you're welcome. And then I felt uncomfortable as a man. I didn't want to like look at them because I feel like I've been educated to understand that I make women uncomfortable by the virtue of my existence. I'm a man who's very big. I'm 6'4". I'm also fat and I'm bearded and I can look intimidating and scary. And so it made me uncomfortable having any interaction with them because I'm afraid of making them uncomfortable just by virtue of my existence.
Interesting.
And so I just like that was a thing. So, you know, nowadays I like there's times where I'm like walking on a sidewalk and I see people and like I feel like maybe I should cross the street or go out of my way to avoid them to not make them uncomfortable. But then if they're black, I'm racist.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just something that that's just something.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can't identify with that at all, so I don't really know. Like what my automatic thing is to say like maybe that's for me, my automatic reaction is like that's a bit terminally online, but I also don't know because I'm not like a big man. And I'm also not like a scared little girl, you know?
Yeah, that's true, you're a big bitch. In a good way. I don't know if it's terminally online because I feel like there's a lot of big guys or men that feel that way as well. I don't know if it's terminally because I feel like I did that before I was even online. I would get uncomfortable because I didn't want to make anybody.
I mean, it sounds like you said like you didn't even want to like look at them. Like it sounded like you said you meant like make eye contact or anything because you didn't want it to be interpreted a certain way.
I didn't want them to be uncomfortable. I feel like I understand, especially as a young girl, that older men are scary. And I don't want to be that.
See, times have changed so much.
Back in the day,
because if I was like 13 and some guy held open a door for me, I would have been like, "Oh my goodness, I wonder if he liked my boobs." You know?
Oh my god, you're terrible. You're terrible. The
I
privilege of being a woman.
I used to when I was like a teenager, like a young, like middle school teenager, like me and my best friend, like whenever we saw older guys, like waiters, like whatever, we would always leave them our phone numbers and MySpace links.
Jesus Christ.
Like hit us up on MySpace, and we thought we were gonna like be in love.
You're why we have to educate young girls about putting themselves into situations.
No, we're why we have to educate older men.
Both need to be educated.
Even though we're enthusiastic, they still shouldn't be hooking up with younger girls.
We need to educate both. Obviously, the burden is more on the man. But I mean, Jesus Christ, just like, hey, predators, come at me. You know, it's just like, holy fuck. They read the title as "My Wife Relentlessly Bullied Howard Stern."
I'm going to. I hate that bitch.
Oh my god! You know, I love you.
I love you too. What I was saying before you pissed me off is
she cursed 35 seconds into the stream.
So what?
And then I was like, "Baby." Well.
So, anyways, what I was saying before you pissed me off
11, 12. Okay.
Was that when I was younger, like the people with money had like a huge satellite dish on their roof for TV.
Yeah, now you don't need that.
That's all I was saying. That's the type of dishes I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about ring dishes.
No. Okay. But you remember that? Like having to have like a friggin'...
Yeah, I do.
Like a big fucking
I remember people
shield on your house.
I remember people would go into like the cable box and like rig it so that they can get stuff to work.
That's crazy.
I remember watching Static Boobs.
Yeah.
Girls Gone Wild commercials. Terrible. You ready to start the podcast?
Give me a minute. Okay.
Oh, they asked if we're gonna watch the Dave Portnoy drama. I don't think so. I think I'll talk about that tomorrow. I think that might be.
Is that the pizza? Oh, I just spit everywhere.
It's a pizza guy. Apparently, people are sensationalizing articles about him in like a negative way. I don't think that you'd be super interested. That's the only reason.
No, I don't care. I don't like him.
That's something I would be interested in. So I'm gonna do that for tomorrow.
I gotta get one more out and then I'll be good to go.
It's funny that there are women in the chat that are like, yeah, I agree with you, Mama God. And it's fucking weird now that you get old. It's so interesting. We really need to do a better job educating, well, older men, of course, but like young girls and like why it's dangerous for a 30-year-old to be interested in you as 13.
Yeah.
I feel
even that way, I don't know, like why it's dangerous.
It is.
But that's the thing is that like for me, I don't think that all situations have to be dangerous
to be wrong.
As much as it's inappropriate. I think, and this is actually,
I understand what you're saying.
This actually segues into something else. So, hi everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Rob and Dan.
Okay.
I'm Rob, this is Dan,
Hi.
and we're going to get started.
I really want to flesh out that thought because that's not a thought I want to leave open into the air.
No, we're going to, but before we get started,
okay.
How was your week, quickly?
It was okay. You know, nothing to complain about. Like, that's it. I don't know. A little people are upset with me about my Sniper Wolf situation. We talked about it. And I came to the conclusion that I have to stop talking about things I don't care about.
Yeah.
In unproductive ways. Because that Sniper Wolf situation, basically, her and her husband are getting divorced, and it's just turning into a thing, and now it's very public because they're public figures, and it doesn't matter, and nobody actually cares, and there's nothing else to talk about right now, so they're sensationalizing the topic as if it's the end of Sniper Wolf. Like, it's boring, it's stupid, it's terminally online. It doesn't really matter, and it really boils down to like two people going through a messy divorce, and we really need to normalize not turning that into content. It's like a weird boundary that we need to stop crossing all the time. So that's how my week's going. How's yours?
I had a pretty bad week last week.
Yeah.
I had what I coined the term as accomplishment burnout, where prior to last week, the week that I kicked ass. I accomplished 1,000,001 things at work. I cooked dinner like every single night. I did well in the house. Okay. And now this past week has been nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty horrible week.
We moved some stuff into the basement too.
Did we do that?
We moved the big dresser from the basement to my new office.
That was after last stream. Yeah, we did, and I feel like that was the end of my productiveness. After that day.
Yeah.
And since then I was like really burnt out at work. Didn't do well, in my opinion, like cooking this week or any of my like personal goals for myself. I just didn't do well.
I get that. I understand that.
And I'm just tired and I still don't want to go to work this week. But we're here now. And tomorrow, the one good thing is that tomorrow I'm going to a concert to see Villa Vallo, who I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
And I love him. So.
My wife's leaving me tomorrow.
So hopefully this week is better than this past week.
I'm sure it will be.
I want to be more productive on my personal goals.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying. Me too. All
right, so prior to introducing
what segue segment did this have to do with? Anything that was on the roster, or is this just a thought you wanted to talk about?
It is on the roster. So I was talking to you earlier about how I was watching your video where you talked to people in your Discord, people who watch your stream.
I have that over here. I did a nice Discord fan chat, which is something that I've been talking about doing a little bit more of. Maybe if I don't feel like I have any content on my channel to really talk about, just open up the Discord. If people want to hop in, they can. If they don't want to hop in, they just don't, So I've been thinking about that. Yeah. Okay.
And so what led into this is we were talking about we were just talking about younger girls being interested in older men and trying to educate
both
parties, but educate like younger girls why being with older men or older people in general
is inappropriate. 1000%.
And I was talking, and so I got into why I wouldn't necessarily, or I didn't get into it yet, but presented why I don't think dangerous is always the right word, but rather inappropriate. Really quick,
I agree with you. I just want to be very explicitly clear because I know how internet narratives can run. Stay tuned for the explanation because I actually been thinking about this as well, and it's a conversation between different types of, I would say, SA. So it's weird that I've been thinking about this week too, of I'm trying to have an actual, I've just been thinking about stuff like that. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't do that.
So in one portion of the video, you were talking about family channels, and within that conversation,
that was the first.
You talked about introducing child labor laws for kids who are present on social media and stuff like that. And then you started talking about child actors, and you didn't really get into your opinion on child actors.
I don't have a very fleshed out opinion on it. So that's why.
So I'm just I'm going through my thought process. So then I got to so you said something in that video that prompted me to think about how we could put in different regulations for the amount of time children work in these industries,
but
but you
in
don't.
any industry, like actively time worked when it comes to anything, like when it comes to like working at fast food or on a farm or whatever else, you know.
Yes, so there's limitations on like time and amount of work, but there's not really guidance in terms of like the interaction with that child with the outside world or with their cast. But that's a better way to say it, not the outside world. So then I was thinking of like my own experience.
I need to flesh that out.
Yes, I'm continuing. So I was thinking of my experience, even just being in local theater.
When I said I need to flesh that out, what I mean is like I don't know what you're saying.
I know.
So I think what I think you're saying is we have laws that implement how much time you can work, as well as some of the restrictions in what you can do at work. Like for instance, you're talking about actual Hollywood, but like you can't use like a meat slicer, or you can't work after a certain amount of time. But you're saying we don't have any regulations on the way that people are supposed to engage with those children outside of their workplace dynamic.
Yes.
Okay, so I just needed to make sure
in
I
the
understood
workplace.
Yeah, or inside the workplace dynamic, like the way that you would talk to them.
Yes.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
So, like when I was in local theater, like it was a thing, like it was desirable to hang out with the older adults in there. And if you were hanging out with not even older adults, but older kids, like if you're 13 years old, hanging out with the kids that are 18, who are then hanging out with the people who are 20, 21, like you want to be part of that group.
Yeah, because you think it's cool to be hang out with the older kids. You want to be seen. It's the weirdest thing is as an adult, as a child, you want to be seen as an adult. But then as an adult, you wish you were a fucking child again.
But then, like, the way that the people in the older crews take in the younger people is by doing, like, adult things with those younger people.
Okay, what do you mean by adult things? Just
like inviting them into parties, adult conversations.
Right, okay.
Like, stuff like that. Like, you...
Instead of setting a hard boundary that this is a child or this is a teenager, which is still like a young person and we shouldn't really be interacting too much. We need to set a boundary.
Yes.
Gotcha, okay.
And so I was thinking about, like, that part of it. And for child actors, it's probably similar and probably to a worse degree rather than, like, some losers in local theater, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And then then it got me thinking about like why as a society as a whole, and I've been thinking about this with the change of the season, we are so focused on looking ahead and instead of being like focused in the present. Okay. I don't know as a society like how long that's been like happening or if it's been to such like a degree as it is now where like in like August or maybe even after 4th of July, you start seeing fall stuff like seasonally, right?
Sure. What do you mean when you say we're not focusing enough on the present and we're focusing too much on the future? Like in context to like talking about child celebrities. So
like children, we just want to be with the older crowd. We want to be doing the older crowd thing so much.
Yeah, that we don't like sit and then like what's going on now. Sure. Okay.
And then I think that like even when you're younger, like we don't even like on a peer level, children don't allow children to be children. If you're 11 years old and you're still playing with Barbies, you're going to get made fun of.
Right, for playing with Barbies.
And it's because like that's where like you're also starting to engage in things where you act older than what you are. And this is what I was telling you before, that I don't have like a completely like made up, like I don't know exactly the conversation I want to have, but these are all my thoughts about the topic.
Sure.
Because then all of that also, I was going to say leads into, but I guess more of it doesn't help, that the way we provide education to children does not help that. It's like we have two forces against each other. On one hand, we have children desiring to do things and act older than what they are. And then at the same time, we provide education at like a lower level than what they're capable of, which I think exacerbates the desire to do things that are like you're too young for, without the understanding of why they're not age appropriate. So
okay, hold on, just because you're going fast. What do you mean by we don't supply? Because I agree with you that kids want to be older and they're looking to the future and they're not like living in the now and they're not like enjoying their adolescence, and that has a whole conversation. Like people want to be older because it's seen as cooler and more mature, and I get that. But then you talk about how we don't I agree, we don't educate young people properly on issues, on these types of issues, especially when it comes to consent and boundaries, which I think is what you're getting at, kind of, right? But what do you mean that we don't explain it to them in a way that they're like it sounds like what you're saying is we underestimate their emotional maturity, and so we don't explain to them correctly.
Yes.
But I feel like, I mean, maybe I just feel like we're not explaining it to people at all, because maybe we don't even know how to explain to a 13-year-old why is it wrong to sleep with a 30-year-old. It is wrong. But how do you explain that to a 13-year-old who's in the mindset that they are an adult already, and that like, oh, it's so cool that this older man is interested in me, and they're interested in me because I'm a grown, and they can acknowledge that I'm a grown up.
Exactly.
How do you explain to that kid that concept?
Exactly, and that's what I'm getting at. I feel like there are ways to. I mean, I can't write a book right now and tell you what it is, but I think that more effort needs to be put in, but we could probably already think of ways to educate, really teens, I think, is the focus group.
Yeah, both men and women, because like, you know, you're dumb 30-year-old, well, you're a 30-year-old predator, let's be real, that's engaging with this 13-year-old. If they got this information at 13 as well, the boys, then maybe they would have grown up to not be pieces of shit.
Yeah, and I'm not even thinking 30. 30 is like a very large... Like,
you think like 13 and 18?
I think, yeah.
That's also inappropriate. Okay,
I
get
think
it,
that,
yeah.
or even like, again, like I think like on like the local realistic level, you could start working in a grocery store when you're what? I think in New York you
15.
get your working papers at 14.
I think so, yeah.
You know, some of your cart boys are probably maybe like 20, 21.
Right.
You know, so I think it's more realistic to almost develop like a natural relationship there, because there you're in like the same social circle.
I get it. And then that,
you know?
and okay, so what you're saying is a 14-year-old starts as like a bagger at a grocery store, and then they have the cool older 21-year-old. He's usually emo, because emo people are red flags. Okay, and then they develop like a friendship, and then that leads to some kind of relationship, and they obviously that guy hasn't set a firm boundary. I get what you're saying. Okay, sure.
So basically in this whole big spiel, like you were saying, like I really think that it comes down to like finding ways to teach kids, teens,
yeah,
like how to understand why doing things that are beyond them at the point they're at,
yeah.
like why it is beyond them in a way that's not like condescending, speaking down on them. And like if we're able to do that, I really do think that we'll be able to teach kids to just be kids.
Yeah, like enjoy the moment that you're in, and like try to get them to just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like some of that like looking to the future bullshit has to do with consumerism, and we're constantly selling to people like or I guess kids, that they want to be cooler and older?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I'm saying I don't know how
all the invading properties.
I don't know how social media has impacted that, or how like looking into the future is worse today than it was 50, 60 years ago. I don't have that answer, but I was thinking even how like I told you how I used to play Gilligan's Island.
Sure.
Now kids are pretending to do TikToks like the older girls that they see doing TikTok, except kids are able to do that on TikTok.
Yeah, so now
you know, it's
like,
not like you're
12,
just not playing in your
girls.
room being cringy by yourself.
Now you have 12,
like you're actually
yeah.
like engaging in the actual practice
and putting yourself in like a really uncomfortable situation at the very least. Like you have 12 or 13-year-old girls that are dancing on TikTok like the 18 to 20 to 30-year-old girls are dancing on TikTok, and they, oh, that's cool. She's shaking her ass, and then they start shaking their ass, and then they put it on TikTok, and then it probably gets to the wrong side of TikTok with like a bunch of gross men. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much invasion of social media. Like, a lot of it, I feel like it's so hard. You know, I feel like you have to be more aware now than ever as a parent to be like, curb a lot of this behavior.
I really do think that like education, like you were saying, like it's so much. Like, how do we combat all of that? I feel like education really is like the starting point that bleeds into
what does that look like? So for me, if I had to, here's how I would talk about why it's wrong. Like, it's obviously, no shit, we know it's wrong on an intuitive level for, like, an older man to talk to a younger girl. And, like you said, we don't need to go to, like, 13 and 30. So let's do, like, 13, like, 22. Wildly inappropriate. But, like, how do you communicate to a 13-year-old, like, you're getting taken advantage of? And so, I guess, I don't know how, it sounds like what you're saying is don't try to communicate to kids. Communicate to them as people.
Yeah.
And so how I would communicate as a person is I would really break it down into two different things. I would hope that this young person already understood sexual assault, but there's like two general categories I would say of like some kind of sexual assault or sexual harassment or whatever you want to call it. And that is going to be I would say physical and mental. Like physically speaking, a guy can, and it's usually a woman can't do this to a man, like physically do anything without some sort of manipulation, whether it's drug manipulation or like an age manipulation, right? But, you know, so that's one aspect. But from, let's just say the 22-year-old isn't engaging in a physical sexual assault. Now we're talking about like more, I guess, of manipulative assault. And so that doesn't look like force. It looks like making you feel like you want to do this thing. Having you want to be willing, which doesn't mean you can consent as a 13-year-old, and how there's a drastic difference between somebody that's 13 and the life experience of a 22-year-old. They're older, which makes you think that they're cool, which makes you feel like you want to do more to fit in with them. They have more money, so they have the ability to get you things that you might want that you may not otherwise be able to get that could be dangerous, like drugs or alcohol. They are still physically imposing, which could make you, even if it's just subconsciously, feel like you have to do what they want to do, especially if they get you isolated into a specific situation. And so you'd have to be careful of it. And they have like a higher life experience, so they know how to speak to you in a way that would make you feel like you had to do something and pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do because you probably just want to hang out with them, whereas they're there for like an ulterior motive. And putting yourself in that situation, which is their fault, but, you know, like sneaking out at night and hanging out with this and doing that, and that's just gonna, like, you're not gonna want to do anywhere near what that person wants to do. Trying to communicate that 22-year-old is not just there to try to be your friend. That person is most likely trying to take something from you that you don't want to give, and you don't have the capacity to give. But I wouldn't say that's the 13-year-old. I'd say like you're not going to want to give up. And you're going to feel very harmed. It's going to it can be very unfortunate and hurt you in the long term. Would that be the right way to communicate to like a kid that?
Honestly, I don't think so, because
how would you do it then?
Exactly. I think that it's still like a lot to flesh out, because I'm listening to you say that and I'm thinking of myself like, okay, like if I was
you were like a 13-year-old girl, so
like I would just hear like scare tactics and I'd be like,
do you think I was trying to be scare tactic?
No, I don't think you were trying to.
Hear that as a 13-year-old
but I
girl.
hear that like, oh, like you should be afraid of. That's what I'm hearing from you. You should be afraid because the men that you're talking to, even though you think that they like you, they're ill-intentioned. They're trying to hurt you. That's what I got from what you were saying.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. How the fuck do you communicate?
Exactly.
That's why we just need to lock them away. My perspective
would almost be like, okay, how much older?
Insert an air tag into the inside of under their skin. They can't get it out. And then you can know where they are 24/7.
That's what I'm saying. Like we just have to go back to like asking parents for permission, you know?
Well, what do you do? How do you educate? Because the reality is,
the
reality is it's more effective if you can get the 22-year-old to not be a creep. But the unfortunate
100%.
reality, that's the same thing as like, hey, make it so that driver doesn't hit you as you cross the road. Like there's a reason why we have conversations about teaching kids to look both ways before they cross the street, because even though the burden isn't on them to be as careful, it's more on the driver. You still got to talk to them about it, because the drivers are going to be fucking assholes. There's going to be some people who are just pieces of shit. They're not paying attention. How the hell do you communicate to this 13-year-old?
Well, I think that even before you get to partners, you need to provide more education about like literal just sexual health. What everything is, including masturbation. And okay. I think, and of course, like the religious stuff plays a role into this because of America, the way it works.
Sure, but how would educating, and I agree, we need to give kids comprehensive sexual health education, teaching them alternatives to actual physical sex, teaching them safe sex practices, because they're young and they're exploring and we can't stop them whether we want them or not. But educating them properly on STDs in a way that's not like a scare tactic. I agree with that. How does that help a 13-year-old go like, you know what, I don't want to interact with a 22-year-old?
Because I really do think that if you normalize sex and masturbation and stuff like that, and makes it less taboo.
Okay, so when you say I just want to be very clear, because when you say normalize, you mean normalize the conversation and remove the taboo from it. Don't say, hey, you're a 13, go fuck everybody, but saying like, this isn't the most taboo thing, and there are alternatives, and here are the legitimate dangers. And if you're going to engage with another person your age, make sure that you do it in the correct way. You're saying that would reduce the taboo?
I think so.
And it would reduce their likelihood of them in trying to like engaging with like an older person.
I think that's where the conversation starts. Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna take me a few days.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm not gonna be able to be like, oh, I agree with you. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I have to like let that sit for maybe even a week or so.
And then I also think emphasizing the like, okay, again, if we're going 1322, whatever magical number you want to do.
Yeah, I think it helps to have
like asking, like, okay, you're 13 years old. How many years older is a 22-year-old than you? Yeah. And then what is that math? 12?
9?
9?
13 and 22, 9, yeah.
Oh. Okay, so then what's 13 minus 9? 4 years old.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it's appropriate?
As you're 13, like, how do you think about interacting with the 4-year-old?
Right.
Which of course is different because
it is, because like there's different stages of development,
developmentally, but still, like
tactic.
There's like, how much life have you experienced since you're 4 years old?
Yeah.
Now, how much more life do you think somebody who's 22 has experienced than you?
Yeah.
And engaging in like, okay, so how do you think you're going to be different when you're 22?
Okay.
Now, when you're imagining yourself at 22, do you think that you are going to want to hang out with people that are your age now? Okay. And like exploring
that one I think is so much more effective than what I was saying.
Because like I was saying, like I feel like the conversation you were having is not meant to be, but is more fear tactics because you're like, these are the things that are going to happen, rather than putting the power in their hands to come up with their own answers.
Interesting. No, I agree. That was, I think, the best way. I feel like that's the most effective way to communicate. Did you just think of that, or have you been sitting on that?
I mean, no, I don't think I just thought of it. I think about this a lot, and I think part of it is like from like the social worker perspective.
Yeah, no, okay.
Because like one day, like this could be my purpose. And honestly, I don't know how it would arise, but if I could somehow influence sex education
in a positive way, yeah,
I would 100% do it.
Right. I just want to be clear with like where I'm at, because I think that was an excellent take, and I appreciated the journey from where we started to where we got to now. Like, I really genuinely appreciated like how we took in this 20 minutes to get to the point of like, oh, like, because there's so many different things going through my head when we were talking about this. And one of them is like, hey, don't speak condescendingly to a kid. And then so if that triggers to me, I'm going to speak to them like an adult. But what I did was still too much for a kid to understand the way I was educating. And so you took an approach that was like much simpler and more intelligent and better applied for a young person. Like, hey, you're 13, they're 22. What's the age difference? 9? Well, how are you at 4 years old? Okay, do you feel like you grew a lot from 4 to 13? Okay, do you think you're going to grow a lot from 13 to 22? Okay, do you think do you think that you would want to date a 4-year-old now? Okay, do we think when you're 22 you'd want to date a 13-year-old? And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that guy might be weird. All of a sudden, if she's like, holy shit, yeah, that guy, I think is that would make her sick. You're giving her the tools to go, that guy's a fucking creep, without telling her that guy's a creep.
Or also like, oh, I shouldn't be chasing this person.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, I was a chaser of older men.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that, and I know it was a very big circle and a very big path from the beginning of the conversation to get where we were at now. But like, and that's why I say, I think that if we are able to somehow, and I really do think it would be a great cause, even if I'm wrong in the way I'm presenting it, I think that I have the right spirit. I think that if we're able to teach kids that, then it would impact them in a positive way, not only in their ability to protect themselves from predators, but also in a way to just like act your age, engage in what things like are meant for yourself. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, keep playing Ninja Turtles in your bedroom at 13 years old. Keep getting turn on the music television channel and listen to music while Stone Cold Steve Austin gives a Stone Cold Stunner to the Rock action figure you have while you play on your bed.
But like, even now, like, I'm 28 years old, and what do I do at least 3 times a week, if not 3 times a day? I'm always upset that I'm like behind on schedule of having kids.
Oh, wow. Yes, that gets into an even bigger conversation about how we're constantly teaching people to feel uncomfortable with where they are at rather than to be like, be comfortable where you are, have a healthy relationship with your growth, be happy and comfortable with where you are, but also acknowledge that you could do better and work towards that, but still take a deep breath and just sit in the moment and go, look at all the things that I have.
Yeah.
And that would be so positive for us because like right now, like we do have like a lot of student loan stuff and we do want to have kids and we are working towards that and we are stressing about this. And it's not bad to stress because some stress can be productive and help guide positive life choices. But then if I stop looking at the future for a second and I look at what I have right now, I'm married. I love you a lot. It's like the love of my life. I'm with somebody that I'm mature enough with, and we've grown enough to have kids, which is better than a lot of, or it's in a good spot for a lot of people. We still are financially capable, and we are okay. I have a job that I enjoy. I have things that I can be productive with in the now, and like I have hobbies that I like to engage with, and those things should be at least 50% of the conversation in my head when I'm thinking about all the ways that I feel like I could be more adequate in the future.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Blew my mind on that segment.
That's a lot.
That was.
Did we burn out with the first one?
Hey, if we did, I think this was I wasn't expecting such a heavy topic to start.
I know wasn't going to start with this either, but it made sense from the short conversation.
Yeah,
which I don't even. Because we were talking about Applebee's.
Yeah, guys. So we started with Applebee's and we got to how to help protect children from getting predatorized.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 100%.
Like it was a big long path.
With everything that you're saying. I think that was incredible. Even if that was the only segment we could have done today because we're burnt out, that was an incredible. That was an incredible first segment. I love that. That was that was the first time in a while we've had such an incredibly deep conversation.
That's how we talk in the car, guys.
Yeah,
like you know how he always says like, oh, like my content's good because of the conversations I get to have with my wife. That's like how we talk.
Yeah, for me, where we started the conversation, I was very uncomfortable, especially as a man talking about young people because we are told as a man, the way that we are educated is you need to be very aware of the impact you have on everybody else around you, whether it's young people or women. Because you're scary, which I think that there's a level of truth to. I get it. I understand. I'm a 6'4" imposing man that like I could see why you might be afraid of me when we walk past each other. And so we're talking about this very loaded topic. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Some of the things you're saying make me a little uncomfortable. And then as we go through, I start to go like, oh shit, like, and I would come to a positive conclusion of like, that's how I want to talk to our kid if they ever are interested in an older person. And then if it's like one of our kids that are like, if they are the 22-year-old, the way I want to talk to them is with a bat.
No, but like that's the like
sometimes you got to give sometimes you got to give him a firm ass kicking. Okay, interesting. I think we should do a less loaded segment next. Just that's my advocation.
Yeah, I know.
There's another conversation to have based off this video though, which is the hugs conversation. But I think that's going to be also another deep one. And if we don't get to it today, we could also do it next week. But I think we should do something a little stupid. And a little bit different because
Which one are we doing?
I think we should do this segment.
Oh, okay.
Which one would you have advocated for?
The sports section.
You want to go right to the sports?
We don't have to.
No, you know what? Why not? Let's do the sports. Let's do the sports segment. This one is a fun one. I'm gonna take this thing real quick and put this in here in case everyone wants to fully watch it, like as a credit. The Wordle. Want to do the Wordle?
Yeah, let's do a Wordle.
That's a good.
Christopher showed me a new Sudoku game last night.
A new what?
Sudoku?
I have no
What
idea.
is it called?
I think you're right.
Whatever, the numbers game. He showed me a new one. It's called Killer Sudoku, and you're so dumb. That's one of the worst words you could do because there's 2 double letters.
How do you spell wiener? Weenie?
Anyway, death is the good first word. That's fine.
Okay.
Wow. Anyways, in Killer Sudoku, you have like different squares where like not only in the squares, like you have the 9 squares,
sure.
But then within the 9 squares, say that there's like a 4 box worth of red squares, and it has a number that all of the numbers in those boxes have to add up to.
That's wild.
It's a lot.
Farts. Okay, we didn't get anything on there.
How
about treat?
Yeah, go for it.
Like treat.
Oh, that was actually a not great word to do.
Okay, well, we got the T.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It almost makes it harder. What about tree backwards? What about that? What about that one?
Okay, so it either starts with R or ends with RT. Does any words end with RT?
I don't know. What starts with an R? We should just do something that starts with an R.
And ends with T.
I mean, somebody said start.
There's not 2 T's.
Yeah, but it would tell us what the R is.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the R is the first letter.
So we know it's an R. And there's okay, we know it's an R. That's all we know. We know it's an R and it ends with a T. I wish you could put the T here. Like I could just hit T, but you can't do that.
Bro, what the hell? I think there's an O and a U in it.
What about like right? IGHT. Like.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey! We got it. There. Woo.
Very good, very good.
That was pretty good. That was an easy one. All right, cool. We got it. Cool Wordle.
Okay.
I like that.
Just made a fart sound.
So, guys,
and this table is shaking so bad today.
We've been working on getting ourselves into the downstairs basement as a new for the podcast, and I think we want to be down there by Halloween because we have a very special episode planned. Okay, we're not going to talk anymore.
I was just saying, next weekend is October.
Shit, we're going to really get it. We'll get it going. If we have a rough week, that's fine, but like next weekend, boom. I think we'll be good by like the middle end of the week.
And we're going away soon. We're going for a short weekend getaway before our big Disney trip.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
For her mother's birthday. Oh, currently watching an Orlando Flying Home. Very cool. Hopefully, I probably went to Disney. Let me get a burp out.
That one sounded disgusting, honestly.
I gotta stop doing that. People probably don't like my burps. All right.
Did you clip when I burped last week? That was funny.
Oh, well.
Because you were like, what do you think about that? And I just burped it out.
Oh, you gotta give me the timestamp. I don't remember what it was.
Give me my headphones.
Oh yeah, you don't have headphones in because you're stinky. Because you stink like fart. You smell like a doo-doo. Me, may, my, mo, moo. What?
Your hair is all over.
Oh my god! Ugh, my hair. You love.
Yeah,
my
imagine
hair.
getting your hair stuck in your ear.
Imagine Among Us. I almost got that meme out. It's almost done. We're at a point now where I'm starting to cringe over it. Okay. You're gonna make me yawn. It's terrible. This is terrible. All right, guys. So trust me, we're gonna go somewhere fun with this. I've been rewatching Angry Video Game Nerd content, like while I play WoW, whatever, while I play video games by myself. And I watched this video. It's irrelevant about the specifics about it, but there's the last less than a minute is very interesting, and it ties into a conversation about sports and basically LARPing. Or like anime nerds. I know it sounds weird, but let's listen to this, and then we'll get into the specific. And that's the whole thing. And we talked about this before because you were going off about people who love sports too much. And I have a sneeze coming, so oh, okay.
Bless you. Make it go away. Bye-bye.
Oh God, it's like attacking me. I'm crying now. I just want it out. Jesus. Oh my God. What just happened? I remembered a trauma from another life.
Okay.
Sorry, the joke. But anyway, we talked about this before about people who, like, we make fun of gamers and whatnot because they dress up in their outfits, but then you're like, well, how is that really any different from some loser who wears the jersey of their favorite sports person and then puts like the makeup on their eyes and then goes to tailgating parties and they scream and then they yell and then they explode over their favorite sports team not winning, and they have magical rituals that they engage in. I have to wear the same dirty sock 52 weeks in a year and I can't wash it except for every October 13th or else my favorite team's not going to win. They have these rituals. How is that really any different from some anime nerd? And then you showed, and so I was like, oh, I want to talk about this on the next thing, and you were like, yeah, let's talk about it, and then you sent me this.
Yes.
This. So let's watch it.
Pick six! Pick six! Pick six! Like, come on. I can't help it. Yeah, you can.
I love the wife. I love the wife so much. That's it.
And then you can help
like,
it.
you can help it.
You can help it.
But this is the craziest thing. What's the difference between that and yes, bitch? What's the difference?
Of like Slay Queen.
Yeah. Fucking nothing. You're a grown ass man in your living room. You can't make fun of anybody.
You're right. There's so much commonality between different people. I agree. I didn't even
You're
think
watching men tackle each other in tight pants and you go
and you create an entire ritual about it.
There's no way.
But
there's
then,
no way.
And for some reason, it's not acceptable to criticize them. Meanwhile, they're the most violent people.
I was actually gonna say, like when I was in school, one of my professors taught me how, like, when you're working with clients, especially in a therapeutic setting, like there's something like, this is like whatever. There's different things that have different meanings to people. So for example, like if you come in after Super Bowl Sunday, like it's not always for people, it's not always like a nice family party that somebody hangs out with to be like, oh, like what did you do for Super Bowl? Like just to be aware of yourself as a practitioner, like not to lead with questions like that, because for some people Super Bowl may mean that their partner, usually again
in a domestic violence situation,
like
might have hit them. Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Got drunk, got pissed at the game, might have broke shit in their house, might have beat them, and that's what their Super Bowl is.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, it might be like a nice family fun party.
Yeah.
And like there's significant abuse like during major sporting events.
Really?
Like Super Bowl stuff like that, because
That's
people
horrible.
get so pissed and like it leads to fights and destruction, drunkenness, stuff like that. I also, yeah, but
that's really interesting. I don't doubt it at all. I mean, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. So that's interesting. Yeah, but that's my thing, is that like it's probably the most violent hobby to have, being into sports.
I don't even care about it being violent. I just don't understand
why we
look at like men, because usually men, right? I know that there's girls that like sports too. Yeah. But like lesbians. Men are usually like obsessed with sports. They love it. But then like they make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
like theirs is, I would say, like the worst.
Yeah, they have yeah, they'll dress up in like a tutu just so that they can like dance like a ballerina to invoke the god to have an impact on their game to make them go really well. But then they're the ones that are bullying like the guy on TikTok that likes to do their makeup. And it's like you're painting your face and you're getting drunk at tailgate parties and breaking things. This guy's just putting on some makeup.
Yeah, sporting games are literally just a convention that happens more regularly.
Yeah. I agree with that. They're like I agree.
And then like you go play it in the backyard with your kids, like
like you're LARPing every day. You're pretending that you're actually a professional sports person every day. What's the difference? Oh, I'm throwing around the pigskin.
You buy season tickets.
You
know,
like
spend
it's just $60
crazy.
A month on a fucking football pass on your goddamn computer.
You play fantasy games.
You play fantasy football. How is that different from fucking D&D? Well, my guy, theoretically, it's like, okay. I mean, like, yeah. It's a weird ritual. It is the same as Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I always say we all have our things.
Yeah. And it's like, why bully them?
Exactly. We all have our things, and all having our things is okay, but you need to know that being obsessed with sports is as cringe as being obsessed with anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. That's funny. I didn't even think of it like that. Bro, you watch the game, and then you play a game while you watch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're no different than the people who like will play D&D along with like Critical Role or whatever they do on their podcast thing. You're doing the same thing, except you're hitting your wife when they lose. That's the only difference.
And that's why I also think that the worst video games are sports video games.
You think so?
I hate them.
Why?
Because it's just so goddamn stupid.
I think the worst video games are like
because they talk about it like it's
game.
real sports when you're pressing buttons. I mean, I feel that way about any video game, and I know I'm in the minority here. Yeah. But like, I hate it so much.
Well, I don't like basketball games because I get fouled when I play all the time, and I'm just like, okay, I can't do this. There's too many rules.
Like video game basketball games or real basketball?
No, video game.
Oh,
I get fouled. I mean, like video game basketball, I get fouled all the time. I'm like foul. I'm just so confused. You know, it's like Jesus Christ. Okay. Cool. I like that segment. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
That was a nice little breaker.
That's why I wanted to do it, because I knew it was going to be Sally. It was going to be Sally.
It's going to be a little Selly. We're going to sell you something today. We're going to be a little cellular phone. But yeah, I agree. Okay, so there's a Howard Stern thing going on that I wanted to talk about. But I didn't. I mean, I want to talk about with you. See what you have your input on. So basically, it's nothing super crazy. It's a short Fox News segment. We're going to watch 5 minutes, and we're going to do some commentary, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it's called Howard Stern Torched for Embracing Woke Politics and Performative Stupidity. I haven't watched the full thing. I've seen a little bit of recap where people are criticizing Howard Stern because he used to be like super edgy, and now he seems to be super woke. I don't watch him regularly. I've seen a couple clips on TikTok. Some of the stuff he does is funny. Some of it's like mean. Like back in the day, he would like bully fat women and stuff. I forgot there was a segment like that.
We're gonna see where this goes, and depending on where it is, I'm gonna make you pull up the Howard Stern and Nicole Smith clip. Yeah,
well, I think maybe I will. But here's my thing. Here's my biggest thing. This is a fundamental issue I have with anybody who used to be edgy and now isn't edgy anymore, which I think is perfectly fine. People change and grow all the time. Those people, from what I've seen, seem to be the most aggressive against edginess. Like, as an edgy person myself, I still am edgy, but I've kind of shifted a little bit. I don't understand how you could look at somebody else who's engaging in the similar behavior you used to engage in and not give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt and be like, I understand because I was there where you were before. It seems like these individuals are the most aggressively against other people's edginess and ignorance, even though like your argument is you used to do that and now you're better. So that it was just the conditions, I guess, that you were brought up in, you know, made you not have a different life, basically made you have a different life experience that didn't bring you to the point where you were as empathetic as you feel like you should have been in the past. So that's my thing. It's like, I find it so annoying when people are so aggressively against it. That's just one thing I wanted to bring up. But let's watch this.
Shock jock. Howard Stern is embracing his woke side.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call me woke as you want. I'm not for stupidity, but I am woke, and I love it.
I will say that all that is correct, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, just like nowadays, wokeness used to be when people were like crazy, where it's like, oh my God, you can identify, like you can say that you have cat pronouns. Like that would be too woke. Nowadays, woke is when you think trans people should have access to medical care. Woke is now when you think that the vaccine is a positive. Woke is when you like worked during COVID and you saw people dying to COVID and go, we should probably get vaccines and wear masks. Like that's it. Like woke is being pro science.
Yeah.
It's being pro mental health science when it comes to trans people. It's pro being like pro like environmental science when it comes to like our earth. It's pro being science when it comes to the vaccine and wearing masks. And I don't wear masks anymore, but like that's all it is. Wokeness is when you think gay people should get married. Or they should be able to be just as miserable. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. Gay people should be able to get married too. Wokeness is when you think that like women should have an equal opportunity to advocate to having a job as long as they're just as capable. That's all wokeness now. Woke doesn't mean anything anymore. It literally just means anytime you agree with something on the left.
Yeah. It
doesn't mean, the word woke doesn't mean anything. It used to, I would argue, but now it just means anything that's left leaning is woke.
Wow.
Can I have a Tums?
A what?
A Tums.
A Tums. Oh, yeah.
America on Fox News Radio and Fox Nation. Jimmy Failla joins us now. Jimmy, what would 90s Stern say to that shell of a man we just saw?
I don't know. What would 90s Stern seem?
Oh, this is Fox News. I was like, who the fuck is talking like that?
Yeah, Fox News. I don't even know how. I feel like he wouldn't be that against what he said. I feel like he just wouldn't care. From what I understand of like 90s Stern, he would just be like, okay.
So far, I don't care.
Be so embarrassed.
That's fair.
Okay, because think about it. Howard Stern.
Just to be clear, when she says she doesn't care, what she's saying is that nobody should care. This is stupid, and they're being performative. And like, if anybody read what Howard Stern or heard what Howard Stern just said, and they're like, "Yeah, what a bad guy," you're probably struggling because like he didn't say anything provocative in any capacity.
Made his name by raging against the machine. Okay, he was a guy giving the FCC the finger at every turn. He's now joined the machine. A guy who was one.
I think that it's basically like what regulates the television or whatever. I'll look it up.
It's the champion of the little guy, okay, is now telling you, no, I'm with big pharma and big government who fired the little guy if he didn't want to play along and get the vaccine. But let me tell you what it boils down to in a nutshell. This matters, okay? And this is real perspective. Okay, if radio careers were cruise ships, Howard Stern is obviously a Carnival cruise ship with the slide and the diving board. I'm the inflatable raft the Somali pirates are on, okay? I'm pulling up to the oil tanker like, I am the captain now, okay? But Donald Trump's media omnipotence broke Howard Stern. This is very important. Trump used to be on Stern's show every week. Yeah. They were friends. So this idea that Trump was the worst guy who ever walked the face of the earth, why were you hanging out with him? Okay. But
well, I would say just to be very clear about like Trump and how he used to be versus now, like, yeah, he was very used to getting positive like media tabloid coverage. And then when he was up to politics, you get very negative coverage. And there is a justifiable reason for that. Whether you think that he was actively trying to be racist or not, the way that he spoke, we could be a dog whistle to a lot of racist people to make them feel like when he said something like Mexico sending their worst over, if you want to be charitable and say like, oh, he was just saying that there are some bad people who come over, he might have been, but there's a lot of people who interpret that as like, oh, we're going to use that to justify hating people, from south of the border and try to make it seem like all of them are bad people coming over. So like, just at the very least, his irresponsibility in the way that he talked was a problem. But once you step into like, you go from like a businessman, a New York businessman, which just says some edgy, dumb shit sometimes, which I could appreciate, to the leader of the United States. You're not representing just like the Apprentice anymore. You're representing 350 million Americans. You have to be careful about the way that you communicate to people. You don't want to encourage divisiveness. So of course, there's going to be a reason there's going to be a difference.
Yeah, I think that, my perspective on Trump, honestly, is that I think that becoming president was more of like an accomplishment thing to him, probably like, oh, I could probably do this.
Yeah, he did.
And then
gotta
like,
give him that.
who was he going to align with? The people who want money for themselves, which is more of a Republican perspective.
I think you could argue that there are also Democrats who still do generally advocate or will keep some of the status quo available to make money. Like nobody was advocating for getting control of lobbying groups or anything like that. But I do understand what you're saying. Generally speaking, Republicans coming in go cut taxes mostly for the rich. That helps the rich. The tax cuts that Trump did, it was effectively just going to the bank and taking out a $10,000 loan and saying, I made $10,000. I think the overwhelming majority of it had a positive impact for rich people and business and corporations, and it had a very temporary impact that's already over for middle class people. And it's, they generally, I would say Republicans are more for the interest of the top because they think that somehow trickle down economics is going to work. It's not. Our annual federal deficit skyrocketed under Trump, where it was going down under Obama. And then the economy was in like, it was nice, but it wasn't like long term. We would have had a hit 6.7% GDP just for it the tax cuts to actually be financially like viable. We hit 4.2 at the top most. No economist was saying that you were ever going to be able to pay this off. It never worked. So yeah, sure, I agree with that.
And like when you were little, like you even said how like Trump was like the man, like for you to get your nails.
Yeah, Trump was the man when I was little.
Trump gets manicures. So of course Howard Stern, who just had girls with big titties on his podcast or whatever it was called then, of course Trump was going to be president and be a cool guy. Yeah. But like as he moved into his presidency, like I said, I think it was more of like an accomplishment of saying like, oh, like I did this. Yeah. And I truly don't think that Trump believes in what he says as a politician, but I do think that he's indifferent about the impact.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like when he talks about abortion, he's like, I believe he's gotten abortions. Well, he hasn't personally, but he doesn't give a shit. He used to be pro-abortion. He doesn't really care. I'm sure that some of the women he fucked would get abortions before, and now he's like, yeah, I don't really care about this. It has no impact on my life. I'm like however years old, and I'm married, and like I have a vasectomy or something. Probably it doesn't mean anything to me. He probably isn't different. He probably just doesn't care about the negative impact of what he says.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like Trump as a person, I don't know. I don't want to get into all the politics of everything. But when it comes to Trump as a person versus Trump as like a president, like no shit, he's like Stern is gonna shift.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing, is not everybody is right for every job. You know, just on a smaller level, let's say you work with somebody and they're like really like they're an excellent worker with you. Maybe, you know, you guys are equals, you guys do really well together, and then they get promoted over you, and all of a sudden they're dog shit. Like they don't know how to run or manage, and all their weaknesses are shining. And then you're like, this guy sucks, and people are like, oh, hypocritical of you. You used to be good friends with him. It's like, yeah, he's my boss now, and he's really bad at it, and he's micromanaging me in a way that he doesn't understand how to work. It's like that, I think. You know, this happens all the time. It doesn't really show any level of hypocrisy when somebody takes like a drastic role change.
Happen.
No, and I don't think that Stern's perspective, this is just an educated guess based on Howard Stern and what I know of him.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that he probably had, I guess, for back then, we're talking 90s, right? Like chicks with dicks was probably something that he engaged with regularly.
Like he would have engaged with that type of like, you know, perspective kind of a thing. Like that was the aura of his. Yeah, sure. Okay.
So I would imagine that he would have engaged with that back in the 90s, and then engages with trans people now today.
Now that we have a better, robust understanding of trans people, it's like, oh, that was insensitive. I shouldn't have said that. And you move forward. Yeah, sure.
So... And then what was the third thing?
I don't even know.
Oh, the vaccine. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's just like we're at a point now where if you don't believe that the vaccines have a positive effect, like you're just being like, it's hard to engage with somebody that you're just not going to listen to any factual information that comes across your face.
Related to COVID, something that I'm truly, this is off topic.
Yeah.
But I'm truly interested in is I had a conversation with somebody the other day that apparently, and when they had this conversation with me, I just smiled and nodded my head because I wasn't going to engage with them. They were older.
Yeah, of course.
But apparently some study came out that like masks are not effective in preventing COVID from being spread.
That's just not true.
That's what I was thinking. But they were referencing that, and they were talking about, I don't know, just all this stuff with masks, and she was on about
just to be very clear. If a mask can, like, their argument is that the COVID is too small to go through, and it goes through the mask fibers. If that was true, though, then I feel like all of your sneezes would be as well. Like, obviously, it's going to reduce the amount that's going to be going through your body.
Yeah. But anyways, they were just talking about masks and children in school and how terrible that these masks weren't even effective, and we had all these kids in school wearing the mask. And I'm just curious, maybe, I know this will be a point of the segment, if you have kids, was them wearing masks really that big of a deal?
Probably not, but they're annoying and they probably just wouldn't keep them on.
Because I'm curious about that for myself, because I'm like, why? Like, I feel like it's not that big of a thing, but I don't know.
So just to be clear, my understanding of the mask situation, just from like listening to NPR during it a lot and like engaging with it, because I worked at a job, I had to work during COVID. I was responsible for dealing with COVID because I worked on buses. I had to disinfect 200 buses in a night with my crew in a yard, because we still had sick people still needed to get to dialysis, and they needed to do stuff and get to the hospital, and we would service the or clean the paratransportation buses and the transportation buses, and there were still some that were in service because people, they needed to do some things. My understanding was that at the beginning of it, there was such limited resources that I think some kind of information came out that masks may not have been as effective as potentially a tactic to get people to not overbuy up masks and to reduce hysteria.
100%.
And so that seems to have a trickle-down effect of now people are like, oh my God, it never worked. It did work. It always worked.
They were referencing like a recent study, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's just what they're saying is not true. I don't know. I don't know what study they're referencing.
Yeah, I know the doctors wouldn't wear masks during surgery. Like, I don't know.
Doctors always wear masks during surgeries, even before COVID.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's my point.
So they're fucking dumb. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're referencing. It's probably just some dumb bullshit that came out of some fucking like alternative media source moron that doesn't know what he's talking about. And for some reason, like, still, there's an obsession with coronavirus. Like, it's just weird. Like, cope. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, weird COVID tangent, but since it came up.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Came along and had a similar act to Howard's in the sense that he was crass and vulgar, and he really did resonate with the little guy. And he rode that mentality all the way to the White House. It killed Howard.
I don't think that Howard Stern I don't think that the little guy related to Howard Stern.
I don't know what the little guy.
I think that men are fucking pigs.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And
it
he was
like
being a pig publicly.
Yeah, and I think that if you ask,
and then in that case, every guy is the little guy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, yeah, I think that like I don't think Howard Stern would be like, yeah, I should be president. We're not talking about Trump making another podcast in competition with Stern. We're talking about Trump becoming president. There's different standards that you would hold people to. Like if you had a professional MMA fighter that you thought was awesome, was for the little guy, and they got elected a president and they did a terrible job, you wouldn't all of a sudden be like, oh my God, well, he was a good fighter. Why wouldn't he be a good, like, it's just a stupid argument.
Because he was the king of all media. He had that super ego of like, I'm the most important person to ever open their mouth in front of a microphone. And suddenly Trump turned Howard from the king of all media into the...
Yeah, I feel like all of this is stupid. I mean, I'm going to scroll through this really quick to see if there's like any other information that Stern gave, but I don't think I care anymore. Like all this is dumb. They're having a 5-minute
at the end of his joint.
They're having a 5-minute dumb fucking conversation. Oh, it was only the first 3 minutes. The next 2 are something else that's completely irrelevant.
Wow, that was literally
that was nothing. They extracted all that from him saying, "Hey, I support trans people and science." That's all he really said is, I support science. That's all they did. That's all he said. the coldest take I've ever heard in my life has turned into a Fox News segment.
I hate them.
It's crazy. It's actually insane. It really just doesn't matter, right?
Those are the type of people who like sports. That's cool, yeah.
Let's call him back to the last segment. If you're watching this segment, you should watch that one as well when it comes out. There's the Anna Nicole Smith thing. Do you remember the specifics about it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play it. I don't know if I could find it, and it's like the smallness of it, or like a small like clip. But I remember seeing that, and from what I remember, you remember better.
I don't know what you remember.
I remember her being on there, and I was talking about something about her body, and Stern was just being a real dick. And then one of the other guys came out and was like, started yelling at Stern, and be like, "Why are you being such an asshole to her?"
Well, he said to her, like, "You're a big girl," like, and like talked about her being like unattractive and a big girl, and like, and she's sitting there like, "I know I'm a big girl." But she's like this fucking big.
Yeah, she was like thin. Yeah, okay.
I love Anna Nicole Smith. You still have to do that segment that I sent you like a year ago.
So like 30
a series
part
of like
breakdown?
40 TikToks.
God. Yeah, how we do that together? How we do it together?
Listen, you said that you've been bored of content.
Okay. You know what? Find it again and send it to me, and I'll do it.
All right, I'll look, because now with TikTok has like the bookmarks. Some people bookmark their things like that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I
love Anna Nicole Smith. Rest in peace.
Yeah, you did like her a lot. We actually have some interesting stuff here. What do you feel like doing next? We have this. I want to do the Smashing TVs thing just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do this one first. Ow. I don't know why I'm being so weird today. We had a good first segment.
It took a while.
It was a good first segment. I liked it a lot.
But we got to the place. I hope that the flow flows for other people,
well, our experience when we remember last week, we felt like some of our podcasts wasn't good. We felt like we didn't do very well. And then I was rewatching it. It was in my opinion, one of the most interesting podcasts I've ever watched from us, because I rewatch all of our podcasts to get through clips and stuff. And I watched that, and I was like, wow, this is actually really entertaining. We didn't feel in a good flow, but we did a good job. And so I think we did communicate very well. A lot of people in the chat were like, oh, that makes so much sense to me. I think it was a good experience. Okay, guys, so I'm going to torture my wife with this segment about this girl who goes to a Walmart, and it went like a little viral. She got arrested. She goes to Walmart and breaks a TV for a prank. That's the whole thing. I want to talk about it, though. We're going to talk about it here. Pogger, here's the thing. I love my wife, and my wife talks to me. She's like, listen, husband. She doesn't call me Papa Gut, except we're in the bedroom. No. I would cry.
I call him Daddy there.
Oh, my God. Okay. I wasn't expecting you to play into it. Usually you're like, stop. My wife, we have 2 different ways of consuming content. I will watch something fresh and I will talk about it. I won't shut the hell up. My wife likes to look at something and she likes to like let it sit and then have thoughts on it. Right. So the better content that we make is usually stuff where we already not necessarily pre-watch, but it's like a topic like the Howard Stern thing where we've already talked about this. We've already talked about, trans people and this and that. So for this, I'm in the middle. I watched this myself and then I cut it down from 14 minutes down to 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
You named it bad.
I named it bad. Because I don't know, because she's bad. That's what I named it. I'm obviously still going to give her credit in here, even though she doesn't deserve attention, but we are referencing her video here, so I will still give that credit in the description. But this way, everything that's in here should be what I considered relevant. So you ready? Only one side of the ear works. Can you hear this?
Okay, who has this one?
Because it's only like the right side of the ear works. You have the right side in?
I don't know. I'm hearing stuff in my ear.
Stop yelling at me. Stop screaming. Stop screaming. Stop screaming. I love you.
Okay, who has this one?
I don't know. Is it smashable proof? I'm back with another video. Like, I'm just trying to stay consistent for y'all. But y'all, I'm about to go in here.
I'm going to pause constantly.
I already don't care. Okay.
Did you hear what she said, though, with your earphones?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure it's only like the right side only works. Listen, just to be clear, this whole, I just want to be consistent for y'all. I find it annoying. This is a content creator thing that bothers me a lot. Personally, you probably don't care at all about this, of like this performative idea of like, I'm doing this for you, even though it's 100% self-serving. Hey guys, I'm making content for you. I'm making content so I can make money. Now, I don't shift my values or change what I say to make money, but that's my primary motive. If you guys have a positive interaction with that, I think that's awesome. It's great. It makes me feel good, and I appreciate that. But I'm not making my content for you, and I would never pretend that I was, because that's like, we're just lying. So it bothers me when people frame things like, I'm making this for you. No, you're not. You're trying to use your lack of education to make money by doing pranks, because prank content is it's literally just having no self-awareness and going somewhere and just acting a fool of yourself.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like people who would watch her would respond positively to that statement.
Yeah, because they're dumb.
So that's where my thought ends.
Yeah, well, it's because, and this is the thing. Prank content would go down significantly. They did a news report at the Papagat Daily News, where if people were more educated and had higher IQs, we wouldn't even see prank content anymore. That's what it boiled down to.
Break a TV, but they don't know it's my TV. They gonna think it's their TV.
Did you know that? It's her TV. She sneaks a TV in to break it. I was like, I'm not going to tell her that one fact, because maybe when we talk about it, she'll have like a reaction. And what was your reaction? She doesn't care. Love it.
We're going to make them think it's their TV, but really it's my TV that I brought from my house. That's really a big ass TV, so I'm really tripping.
I bamboozled.
But it's anything for y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all.
She's literally she's literally wasting money for this prank, like to destroy a TV. It's silly.
So much. If you can please give this video a like, comment, and a subscribe, I will appreciate you forever. Excuse me, I have a question. Why does your vest look so dirty? I'm just being honest. I was being so serious. I don't even give a fuck.
So I wanted to leave that in because it's two things. It's harassing the employee, because this is what most prank content boils down to: harassing usually minimum wage employees. It's going into like places and just harassing the shit out of employees who don't get paid enough for their job, and then people are like, I don't want to be on camera, and like I feel like you should respect that boundary regardless of what the legalities of it, unless there's something going on. To turn the fucking camera off. Just to respect people. Obviously, they're being disrespectful. But
she's someone who I would wind up getting into it with in public.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
But the camera, I would have said that in real life.
She would have been there, and if I like was that guy with his car, I would have been like, and look at your eyelashes.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
You know, like shut the fuck up. I'm already so angry.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
What's that for?
What?
That.
Oh my god. This is triggering me.
Why? Look, I'm getting an emotional reaction out of my wife.
Triggering me.
What happened? I told you. She's like, oh, this is stupid. Now
it is stupid.
But look, she's getting angry. Yes.
It is stupid.
Let it boil to the top. What do you have to say? Because
I'm polite. I'm not nice. All right?
Yes. Of course. Yeah, my wife
I'm polite. I'm not fucking nice. So if some bitch came up to me in public like this... Absolutely not.
Oh my god.
I have a temper.
My wife.
I engage in, what is it called when you're driving?
Road rage?
I engage in I love road rage.
Oh my God.
I engage in it. If some stupid bitch came up to me in public like this and was doing this, or if I saw her doing this to other people, I would be saying something.
Yeah, but she would want that because then that's part of her content.
I don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't care.
That's fair. That's fair.
People, because this is disrespectful behavior. People don't get to be disrespectful.
They shouldn't, no.
And move on from it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm angry.
Okay, let's get...
Yeah?
Why?
No one cares?
Oh, okay, bye. You don't gotta do your face like that, ugly ass.
Huh? This is really triggering me so hard.
Oh my God. So you can see there's balls all over the floor. Just that she threw there, obviously.
What?
In case you didn't see that.
Oh no, I got it. I'm just trying to get a ball. No, it's not gonna fall.
And this is what they're hoping. They were taking balls out, putting them on the ground. It looks like they strategically put them there. They didn't just like throw them because they're all like very. If you look at it, it looks like they took them and put them down. Because if they had just thrown them, they would have went down the aisle. They took them out strategically, put them down, and then started playing in there like they were trying to get something out so that they can get a response of a worker coming over to them, so they could harass the worker. That's what this scene is.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to help me put him back in there when I'm done?
Look how over it she is.
Because this is not sturdy.
I'm not going to fall. I have your permission.
I hate. You don't have to even pause it because I don't give a fuck to listen to it. I hate.
Go ahead.
That's
Let the
what
hate flow through you.
One of the things. So we have like conversations about how we want to be as parents all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we've said a lot is that we want to teach our children not only to respect people, but also feel confident enough that if they see their friends being jerks,
they will say
to like say
it.
something to their friends too.
Yeah.
And I think that this is really like putting it in stone for me. People like harassing other people at work, especially at jobs like this, like at Walmart. Leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, I agree. You're getting underpaid as it is. You gotta deal with fucking assholes.
They ain't gotta deal with this stupid ass bullshit at Walmart.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm so triggered.
Somebody in the chat asked, hot Cheetos or Takis?
Takis are disgusting, and so are hot Cheetos.
I mean, for her, that's it. What do you think, that she's a hot Cheeto girl or a Taki girl?
You're asking what I like.
Oh.
I like jalapeno Cheetos out of all of those options.
Okay, well, okay. You don't have to answer the question. It was like a rhetorical kind of like, haha, she's an idiot question.
No. Listen, I was distracted by my rage.
Clearly. It's funny because if you listen to the way the worker's talking, she's talking in the most charitable tone of like, oh, please don't go up there. You're going to get hurt.
Yes.
I'll help you. She has to talk like that because her job is potentially at risk. This asshole could come in and be so provocative that she deserves to get cursed out. But if this girl curses her out, she could get fired. And it's like, Jesus.
Stop filming me. Right?
He's not.
Be responsible because
He's not filming you. I don't know who he is.
And this is like a common thing for prank channels to be like, he's not really filming. I don't even know this guy. Like, I don't get the joke. Like, have these people never like these? There's no way any of them have ever worked a real job in their life. To be like, for pranks people to be going around harassing minimum wage employees and then going, I've never seen that guy. I don't know what's going on. Later on, she says he has a medical condition that makes him have to hold the camera like that. It's just like, what, how? Like, it's just like, it's just dumb. It's dumb content that appeals to little kids. Like, you're trying to, like, basically jerk little kids off. Oh, I want their attention. Why? What's wrong with you? You're fucking weird. Like, grow up.
Do you want me to put... What is she doing?
Calling security.
Do you want me to help? I'm not what? No one ever said that. He's not recording you. He has to stand with that camera like that. If he doesn't, he has anxiety. Is that all you have to tell me?
Yes, but they're telling me to call the police. I don't want to do that. I have to tell you first.
What are you calling the police for?
Because we're not supposed to record in the store. That's the store policy.
I've never heard that in my life. Okay, then go do your job.
No, my job is to tell you don't record here, please. Face it down, please.
He's not recording you, girl.
It's okay. Face it down, please. Face the camera.
Like, I imagine that she was allowed to hit them, you know? Just smack the camera out of her hand. That's what I think there should happen there. Yeah.
He's not recording you.
Okay,
It's okay, ma'am. We can leave. He has a medical condition, but if that's what you want to do, we can do that.
I don't care about medical condition.
That's what he has. So apologize, because you just...
I don't need to apologize.
You were just very rude to
Walk out.
him. Don't do your finger to me like that. I'm leaving.
Walk out.
No, I
Don't
think...
do your finger to me like that. What I find annoying about that is like I know that half of it's trolling, but part of it's like she's getting irritated that this woman is giving her shit. She's like, "Don't wake your finger at me. Don't be disrespectful to me. You deserve disrespect." Like that's the whole thing. This is fucking ridiculous.
Hispanic.
This is them just running out because it's a very funny moment. That's a worker that's just completely irritated with their existence and doesn't even want to engage.
I want y'all to know, she's still following us. Like, we are not even in Walmart no more.
And this is her just being stupid and not understanding that like you're still on Walmart property and they have every right to still kick you off of the property. But she's just an idiot and she thinks that this is a smart point in her dumb fucking brain.
I don't know what was funnier. Us leaving or her being that mad. What?
I don't have.
What'd you think about this one?
Okay, who has this one?
I don't know. Is it smashable proof?
Who hit it?
Bitch.
Come boy, right here.
Oh my goodness. Can you help him now? Okay, let me smash it a little more. You ready?
Yes, I'm there.
This right here is for everybody. They got me fucked up. You hear me? Oh damn, one more. We gotta do it right here.
We don't sell that TV.
That's what I thought was funny. He knows that it's not even their TV. He's like, we don't even sell that. Like, you're being stupid. The whole prank is gone. You're dumb. You've been bamboozled. This guy's a fucking Walmart expert and knows that they don't even sell that TV. He's literally, that's the guy that's been at a job for too long that is like, that could run the whole fucking company, but he is just like chilling in the TV section. And he's just like, that TV, we don't even sell that here. You're being stupid. It's almost over. Don't worry.
So are you all doing that stream or what? What are you all doing actually?
What? I just want to buy it.
Well, we don't sell that brand.
That's Jamie Lannister in the background, just so you know.
Come from?
Well, he brought it in, so.
What is going on? Everybody acting confused. Okay, we're buying this back because it's my first TV smash. And
I know it's like a small pedantic point, but like she used a bat from Walmart and like potentially like scuffed the bat up there too. I know it's a stupid point. But I was just like, Jesus, like there's no end to it, you know?
Deodorant, so we're going to the deodorant section.
You busting TVs up?
No.
Come here.
Good.
I didn't bust the TV up.
They should get trespassed from every Walmart ever and get arrested anytime they walk on. Like that would be the funniest punishment. Because you know she probably shops at Walmart. She's a poor loser. I'm just kidding. We shop there too. But you know that Walmart is a nice place to shop. We go there sometimes just to walk around and check some stuff out there and buy stuff. Now, if they trespass her from the Walmart, that would be very funny as a punishment.
I wish she would have fought a little, like getting handcuffed so that he would have body slammed her into the ground. That's what I think should have happened.
Yeah, that could have been entertaining.
I'm being quiet because it's stupid because it's just a video of some dumb bitch, but I'm literally so triggered by this.
Yep.
I hate disrespectful people. I really do.
1000%.
This is wild.
Yep.
This is I'm so angry.
Yep, I can tell.
I'm really so angry.
That's my TV.
I'm gonna find out.
I brought that TV from my house.
Damn, the cops stuff the
No,
back.
don't put my camera on the floor. Can you put it right there where the Apple sign is?
Okay, what are you gonna do with it? You wanna call you guys in
You're gonna get mad at this because he's very nice to her about her recording on the way out.
Yes.
Okay, well,
He has to be, or else he gets fired.
just for the channel. Okay, all right. So put it where?
Because he arrests both.
Can you flip it? Just put it right
Follow
there.
you with it? Oh, that's cool.
Wait, he got to. Can you make sure that's our TV?
No, but I need to hold the phone. I have anxiety. What happened in that argument? What happened to that fucking bullshit argument?
Come on.
Well, he's gonna verify. So just follow you?
Are we in it?
Yeah, you are.
Yo, I don't know what's happening. I just know that that's my TV. But I'm in cuffs, so I just don't really know.
Okay, that's it. That was my edited version of this dog shit. Aren't you happy we didn't watch the entire pile of?
That was even too long. You did a good job.
I did a good job though. Let's watch the full one, so now you know the comparison.
No,
I'm kidding. So yeah, that was triggering for you more than I thought it would be.
It just makes me so angry.
Because they're being so disrespectful. This is pretty much every bit of prank content. They will come in, they will interact with like minimum wage employees, harass the shit out of them, act stupid, and then pretend like the other person is a bad person, and then cry victim when people shit on them. Prank channels are losers. They always have been.
How many views does this have?
68,000.
Part of it, I'm assuming, is for people watching it like we are.
Yeah,
like,
hate watching it. Oh yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. There's some prank content that probably can go well, but most of it's just like this.
Go to her page.
What, this one?
Don't ever watch her though.
Why would I watch her?
I'm saying that to the chat.
Oh yeah, like her 15 minutes of fame are over. That's it. So that was the whole thing.
Wow, she seems like the worst.
Well, this is what happens when you have no other educational opportunities to engage in. You have what else can she do? What else is she qualified for? Working at Walmart. So now she's manifesting her own destiny by getting herself banned from ever being able to work at a Walmart. So now she's forced to do content online and then fail. So just so you know, guys, this is who your taxes are paying for on welfare.
Well, no, look at her fucking views.
They're not. Some of them are okay.
She's getting good money from that.
Yeah, some of them are actually doing pretty well. She got 127K. The truth about my relationship. Yeah, I guess hey, you know what?
And this is why I
working.
preach. The best thing to do when you don't like somebody or don't like something is to just ignore their existence.
Yep.
Because the number has no value except for what the number is, you know?
Yeah, true. So, it is what it is. I gotta piss. I saved it to the halfway mark so I can go pee-pee. Papa Guy can say the most condescending shit, disrespectful. Yes, I can be very disrespectful. I only reserve my disrespectfulness for the people who deserve disrespect. Yeah. I'm very mean. I could actually be very mean. I probably can be meaner than you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be very mean.
That's why I'm the... We have two different dynamics.
This is the dynamic that we have. I am somebody. we both...
Can I tell you...
What's up?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You go first. You go first.
No, go ahead. I know you wanted to throw it out.
The other day, when we were on our way to get the dye thing done,
okay.
I can't remember what happened, but the day before I was getting into it with somebody in public.
The dye test okay.
And you had said that our dynamic is my wife is writing checks I have to cash.
Yeah.
And I've felt bad about it.
Why have you
since
felt? I thought it was silly. That person almost hit us with a car and you started yelling at them.
Was that?
Yeah. And then I was just laughing. I'm like, you're writing checks that I have to. I didn't say I can't cash. I said I have to cash. And
that's what I meant. That I'm ready to cash
them.
Okay. I felt bad about
For
it.
what? The kid, there's this.
Because I don't want to start, because I'm aggressive.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start situations that you feel like you're going to have to shut down, because I don't want you to have to shut down a situation.
We got married, so whatever happens. I don't care. It is what it is. But our dynamic is different. We both have our issues with our anger. For me, I've learned to cope by suppressing it completely, which is not necessarily healthy. And so I'm getting much better at that. So something will happen and I will just not get angry, and then I'll get to a certain point and my anger goes from 0 to 100 very quickly. She gets progressively angry based on what's happening in the situation. And so, but probably a little disproportionately higher than needed. So she'll get very aggressive, but it's a lot. You can see the progression of her anger, and that's not a bad thing though, because she's getting it out. You know what I mean? Anger is a bucket. So she's getting her anger out. So the more that she gets it out, relative to how angry she is, the bigger the hole is in her aggression bucket. So anger is leaving the bucket as more is going in. So it's reducing the chance of an explosion. I just fucking let it sit, and then I explode. And so I have a very disproportionate response to that. That's how our anger manifests. But I can be very we could both be very mean, but I could be very mean,
but in a productive way, right? And we've already talked about this story on this stream, I think, but similar to the video we just watched, was that we were at the movie theater and there was a man working there who, from my guess, might have been on the spectrum. He was socially awkward.
Yeah, he's a nice guy though. He always helps us out at the movie.
And there was a bunch of kids there just busting his balls constantly. And so it got to the point where I said something to these kids, enough, and whatever, and then they started talking back to me. So then that's when he started talking.
Yeah, and I wasn't rude to them, but I was explaining to them.
But then at the same way where like I usually bring the heat first and then you come with the backup. But if we were ever in a situation where somebody like chose to put their hands on you or whatever, you know that I would be there biting ankles, taking them down too. You know,
you are a down ass bitch. I am. Yep. It's one of those. I married you. Let me go pee.
I have to pee too.
Oh, you go for it. Go ahead. Go for it, because then it's easier for me to get up anyway, because I'm like boxed in.
I feel like I've been yelling because I had that thing in my ear.
You've been louder, but not a bad way, I don't think.
I got monster cheese for dinner.
Go take a monster.
Want to make grilled cheese ham sandwiches?
You can do that. That sounds good. Go pee. I gotta pee. Therapy really helped you with controlling and processing your anger. Yeah, I went to therapy for like 10 years when I was younger. I had a lot of anger as a kid, and being married to my wife has actually helped a lot, because she is a behavioral specialist, and like there is a level of like it's an interesting dynamic that we have between the two of us, because like marrying somebody that's basically in that field, you always take that home. But yeah, but it's been helpful. So yeah. What is this? I would argue that if you were going to watch this video, then I don't know what that is. How's everybody doing today? We have a nice little breaker. Hey, what's up? But yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted with thought. But I was just saying that, like, you know, married to a behavior specialist, it has like that. You know, you always take shit home. Like, just like if we can't talk about any social issue without me going into a fucking tangent in the real world, I get like obnoxious. I gotta take a piss.
You have a glass cup on the floor to your left.
Okay, I'm gonna turn mute my mic, so remind me. That I love you.
Hi. I'm reading the chat back. Welcome to our live. Hello, Munkert. Nice, high five. What like field of social work are you in? Do we decorate for Halloween? Of course. Maybe are you here? Maybe we do a Halloween decoration tour once I decorate.
Okay.
That could be a cute video.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
How am I doing? I'm not doing well, honestly.
Why not? Are you? I'm gonna say the deadly question: are you enjoying today's podcast?
Today's not going badly.
Today's going pretty well.
I'm again, like always, nervous about how it's gonna be afterwards, but The content is not bad today. I have just not been, like, respectfully, I just have not been feeling it the past, like, 2-3 weeks.
Really?
I think that I've been so stressed.
Well, yeah, you've been very
that
real
it's
life
just
stressed.
like something else on the to-do list. And like I do genuinely enjoy making content with you, and I really enjoy our audience. Oh, maybe we could segment into the... Is that the word? Segment into the next?
Segue, yeah.
Segue into the next segment with that. I really do enjoy our audience, and I really like sharing my ideas, and I like that people listen to my ideas. But I've just been feeling like burnt out and not well. I haven't been taking care of myself very well.
I understand. I understand that this is also work. It's another 3 hours of work that we do every Sunday, and so like it is a little bit, probably just a little extra stress onto the overall thing. But I do think that this is a good stress because, like, I think it could be very successful. And
no, it's nice, and it's nice to hang out with you too. I saw my Grammy today. This bitch, can I tell you what the hell I was doing?
Go ahead.
I went to my grandmother's house. She was cleaning her chandelier last week, I guess, with my uncle's girlfriend, and a bunch of the like beads, whatever they are on it, fell off.
Okay.
So she had me fixing them.
Yeah.
This is how I was doing it. Taking staples one by one,
Staples
putting them
for a
through each
chandelier?
bead, and like hooking them together.
Uh-huh.
And like restringing the whole chandelier.
Yeah.
At first, I'm sitting there because I need one stapler to like go to each bead. So I'm sitting there with like, I'm trying to take the stapler, separate them like on my nail. And I'm like, holy shit, I could just use a stapler and them out to be able to do it.
Okay, interesting.
And then it like, whatever. So that's what I was doing with my Grammy. I helped her order nightgowns because she's having surgery and wants to, because she's getting, as she'll say, she's getting cut by her box. So she wants to have easy access to the area while still being warm.
Yeah.
And she's going to cut on her leg. And then she was asking about our stream. And she was like, what does that mean? And I like explained to her that like we go live and we talk about things. And she was like, what do you talk about? And I told her a little bit about what we talk about, and then she suggested some things for us to talk about. And it was just cute.
What did she want us to talk about?
Very my family-esque things to talk about.
Like what?
I told her about the segment of the girl going into Walmart.
Okay.
And smashing the TV. And then she was like, why do people not get in trouble for that? But then everybody on January 6th got into trouble. So I just didn't engage in a conversation.
Yeah, I think that might be a little different. And just to be clear, she did get in trouble. But I think that might be a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's Grammys. And then we just celebrated her 80th birthday party, and I got her a little plaque that said the year she was born in with like a whole bunch of facts. She never saw it at the party, and now she was really excited to see it. And she's like, oh, I'm going to bring it down to Florida. And you want to hear what else she's doing?
Yeah.
This bitch. She said she's bringing all the birthday cards she got this year down to show her neighbor.
Okay.
Them. Because the neighbor... You know the neighbor I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The neighbor never gets any birthday cards from her family, so my grandma's gonna bring all down her birthday cards to show him. I'm like,
just to bully her?
I was like, Grammy, that's mean.
What's so rude? Is she doing it just to bully her? That's such a mean thing. Look at all my cards.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's just so rude.
My Grammy's a firecracker. I love her a lot.
What a friend. What a friend.
She's funny, and she loves my husband. So.
Yeah, well, your whole family all the women in your family like me.
But she says, especially when she saves you when you shave your beard, oh, you look so good.
Yep. If she was 50 years younger, she'd be all over me, baby. We know, your grandmother, your mother, I know they all are attracted to me. How could you not be? How could you not be attracted to this? What?
You look so handsome in your little blue shirt.
Thanks, baby. Can I have a kiss?
Is your mic on?
Yeah. Do we want to do this segment?
Do you think I want to do the segment?
I don't know, because I'm feeling like maybe I don't want to do this segment. Maybe I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Well, then what else do we have? We have Eugenia Cooney and stuff like that. We have some other stuff. It is like interesting. It is like a popular thing, though. I kind of want to talk about it. I think we could have a good I think we could have a good conversation out of this. That's how I look at it. I think that I can actually get a stimulating conversation out of this with you. Sorry.
Oh wait, hold on. I want to follow up with the chat first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike is a fellow social worker on Long Island, and so I asked him what field he works in. He said,
Mike?
"I'm
in the chat.
Mike Danielson. I'm working in a homeless shelter for families, but I'm trying to get into clinical practice and get my C. Good for you. I hope that you get your C, and good luck with that. I don't know when I took my licensing exam for my my license of master social work, whatever, for my LMSW. But it was last September, so I don't know the exact date, but I've had, or maybe it was October. Was it October?
I thought it was even further in the past, but it's only been a year.
Yeah, but I've had my license for a year.
That's good. Great.
So 2 years till my C.
I'm proud of you, baby girl.
Thanks.
I love you.
All right.
Are you ready? It's a DX thing. Anyway, I came across this, and I just kind of wanted to briefly talk about it. It's a quick little article on Emma Roberts. Do you know that's Julia Roberts' family member?
Yes, and her father is famous for other things, but I know him as like
who's her father?
The husband or whatever in a Mariah Carey music video. Father?
Is it Richard Gere?
Father? Did I say husband? I meant father.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Eric Roberts?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the guy. I know him. He was in some stuff.
Yeah, the Mariah Carey music video.
Really positive there. He was in some stuff. I thought it would have been Richard Gere from Pretty Woman. That's the joke.
Why?
Isn't it Julia? Is this Julia Roberts' daughter?
No.
Oh, then the joke doesn't work. Sorry.
No, that's why I'm confused. It's her niece, which you literally said.
No, I did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So the fact that joke went poorly, it just allows me to build confidence in making the next joke. Cope, right? Anyway, it says Angelica Ross says Emma Roberts apologized for alleged transphobic comments. So she's a trans woman. I'm sure that you got that out of that. Ross said Roberts intentionally misgendered her while filming American Horror Story in 1984, which I think was in 2019. I think I looked it up. I believe it was started in 2019. So we're talking about something that happened 4 years ago. Do you want to read it? People said you read better than me.
Angelica Ross announced on Twitter/X that Emma Roberts called and apologized to her over an alleged incident.
That's Twitter's new pronoun, X.
Yes, that occurred on the set of American Horror Story 1984. Ross revealed during a previous Instagram Live that Emma, she only said Robert's first name and her initials at the time, intentionally misgendered her between filming a take. Thank you, at Roberts Emma, for calling and apologizing, recognizing your behavior was not that of an ally. Ross wrote in an update to fans, I will leave the line open to follow up on your desire to do better and support social justice causes with your platform.
So my thought there is, for one, we're gonna read more of the story to figure out like what happened in the misgendering, and so we'll get there in a second. But my first thought is like, okay, so two people had an interaction and she misgendered, and from what I've read into it, she made like a joke in very poor taste, and she misgendered this person here, which is like shitty. I'm assuming from the context that I understand, it wasn't meant to be something that was supposed to like hurt her feelings. It was supposed to be a joke, which was edgy and like it was a bad joke. But and like people deserve criticism, of course, but to me it seems interesting. I don't know how I feel about making this public from her perspective. Like she was obviously hurt by the joke, and then Emma reflected and wanted to apologize for it, and then she made it like a public thing, and maybe Emma asked her to, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It's like I feel like people should be able to sometimes be shitty and grow without having it become like a public thing. And I understand at the same time, this might have been very cathartic for the girl on the right. I get it. But I just kind of feel like sometimes people do bad things. And we can meet them where they're at. Like, hey, you were being dumb and ignorant. And like, you know what I mean?
My thought is that her tweet, I guess, after the phone call is bitchy.
Yeah.
Well, like, it would be one thing if she, like, talked about how Emma was, like, a transphobic bitch, and then they had that phone call conversation, and if she, like, genuinely, like, accepted that apology and then was like, listen, like, I know I put this out there about Emma, like, she has apologized to me. But instead, she's like, thank you for your apology, and I look forward to seeing how you're going to actually... like
actually going to make good on your apology by helping us. Yeah, it seems a little bit pointed, and it's not necessarily saying that she shouldn't use her platform to advocate for trans people, but it feels very pointed. And I know it's hard to argue from this position because, excuse me, Emma's the person that's in the wrong. But again, I kind of look at it as like everybody has made mistakes. I'm assuming, and this she has as well, and it's like I don't think it's always fair to shit on everybody for every mistake that's ever made in this public way. I think it's unnecessary, especially since she seems to be trying to go towards a positive spot. So that's like kind of how I initially feel about that. We'll read more into this. Do you want to read?
Sure.
Thank you.
In the original Instagram live video, Ross said that Roberts was joking around saying Angelica is being mean while speaking with a man named John on set, presumably AHS director John J. Gray. Ross, who is transgender, said John then told the two women, okay, ladies, that's enough. Let's get back to work. That's when Roberts allegedly looked at Ross and said, don't you mean lady? Implying there was one lady between the two of them.
Right, and I want to stop right there. And just to be clear, so it sounds like this interaction happened, and then she went on Instagram live video to express that she's angry about it. And I think it's totally justifiable. Like, I think that's, I mean, again, I get that. I think that it's better to set that boundary in person. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Not that you should always have to, but I think that would have been more productive because when the next line says, like, she remembers thinking this instead of expressing it. But I get it. Afterwards, you having this cathartic, you're on the live, it's like, yeah, Emma Roberts is a bitch. But then after the apology, the pointed tone doesn't make sense to me. So it's like Emma Roberts made the comment, then she made the Instagram, the Angelica made the Instagram live, Emma Roberts called and apologized, then this girl made like a pointed tweet that was trying to be like mean or rude.
Yeah. So
that's just kind of how I wanted to categorize it, like how the events in order. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, what the fuck did you just say? Ross remembered thinking. I'm standing there. She walked away. My blood is boiling because I'm like, if I say something, it's going to be me that's the problem. And I know this because there was someone who spoke up about what she was doing and they got repercussions from it. Not her, they did.
Just to be clear, I need to know more about that because, like, I wonder if that's, like, true. In 2019, do you think that kind of thing would have been like, hey, what, like, I'm a woman, like, why are you being transphobic? You think that would have been suppressed? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Hollywood. Maybe Emma Roberts is probably a bigger name, so it's
2019. Possible. Yeah, I think that it was like, yeah, trans people were 100% still less.
Yeah, okay, fair
accepted
enough.
than we were. 2019 is pre-COVID, so.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So yeah, that makes sense then. Okay, then yeah, fair enough. Then that actually might have been like a legitimate thought. Okay, fair enough.
So then when I saw that happening, I was just like, I'm done. I didn't speak to that bitch the entire time after that. Ross continued. She said to me she could feel the energy coming off of me. She was like, are you okay? You haven't been talking. And I'm like, because bitch, don't play me. You've been playing mind games with everybody on the set, and everybody's been waiting for the moment that you would get me.
Interesting. So I like the way that you read that. So that communicates to me that I mean, maybe I'm wrong because some people are saying maybe Emma meant it to be like transphobic, like intention, like, oh, I don't validate you, which is possible. I interpret it more as like she made a comment and she thought it was just a little bit of back and forth. Like she made a typical white joke. That's what I call it, a typical white guy joke, where you say something really fucking dumb and you think it's because you think it's funny, but it certainly is not funny. You know what I mean? As a guy, I've been reducing my expression of those jokes is I know that they're not funny. Like yesterday we went to Sam's Club or BJ's or whatever, and we were trying to get some pork, and it was a little bit more expensive there than if we went to the Hispanic store, but I was like, let's just get it here. And I was like, oh, let me make a funny joke. I thought it, but I didn't express it, and I was like, this way we don't have to see any people. And I was like, wait, that's not funny. I was going to say it to the guy. I was like, damn, that would have been really stupid. Like, that's a typical ignorant fucking moron white person joke. And you just think you're being funny. You don't think that there's anything that's going to, like, horribly offend somebody. So I had that thought, and I was like, that would have been really dumb. But, you know, I am a neurodivergent minor. I have ADHD.
You have one. He's in the basement.
What?
You didn't say I'm a. You said I have a.
Oh, no. Sorry. I am. It's getting worse. This is getting worse. So maybe I'm too empathetic to that perspective, but I've been in a situation where you're like, oh, I'm a fucking moron. Like, you're not even thinking. You just think that this would be funny. You're not understanding that you saying something like that could really hit somebody in an experience that just devastates them. Because I don't really have any devastating experiences that you could like hit me with. Because I'm doing well. I'm just fat. That's it. That's all I got to struggle with, and a small dick. But that's okay. And so like that's why maybe I'm a little more empathetic to Emma Roberts, because I get it, what it's like to be like a privileged white person, not to be so fucking woke. So that's why I'm like, I get where she's coming from.
Yeah, maybe she was just being a bitch. Like, didn't she like completely beat up her ex? What's his face?
Who's that?
The one who played Tate in American Horror Story. What is his name?
Oh, Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Yeah, she. Beat
I
the shit out of him.
I heard that they had a very toxic, like, abusive relationship back and forth, but I don't know the specifics. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that she's a bitch.
Yeah, or maybe she's just a really worthless piece of shit, and I'm just completely wrong.
I wasn't listening to what you were saying before because I was focused on this message in the chat, and I want to read it aloud.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think. What is your name?
Chaos.
Chaos?
It's with a Q, that's why it's confusing.
I was just introduced to the concept of white guy jokes. I asked my lesbian friend if having fat fingers is considered well hung in her community. Apparently not offensive, just not funny.
I think it's funny.
That is one of the funniest things I've ever fucking heard.
That is funny.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Who told you that that's not funny? That's funny.
That's
So I think that was worth acknowledging in this.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
is that like being well hung? That's very funny.
Yeah. That's
so
funny.
anyways, Emma Roberts is probably just a fucking stupid bitch. And in 2019, like, no matter if you're being like a genuinely like disrespectful or like you're trying to be joking, like a comment like that I think probably was more acceptable than it would be today.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
So
that gets into a whole conversation too about just like the media atmosphere, and Emma Roberts is probably a bigger star than her at this point because it's Julia Roberts' niece, and so more shit would fly with what she said. And like, yeah, I get it. I'm happy we did this segment because I'm feeling less empathetic for Emma Roberts as we go through this. Go ahead.
I feel like I almost tried to control the Long Island, but then like it just came out.
Ross only mentioned Emma.
Ross only mentioned Emma.
You're doing Minnesota now. What do you?
While Ross only mentioned Emma while telling the story, she said in another video that a person named Ms. ER irritated all of the cast members on the set of American Horror Story 1984. Many followers on social media took this as confirmation that Ross was talking about Roberts, so much so that Ross published additional tweets about Emma. Let me just go. I can't.
You just
I'm
have
losing it.
Gotcha. Check this out. This is what I like to do. Boop. Oh, it's even bigger now. I gotta go find it. Oh
my goodness!
Wow, guys, subscribe to the New York Poops. I lost it. We did it. This is the same. What's happening?
Stop that. Down.
Know where we are.
Let me make something absolutely clear, Ross wrote. I appreciate the support, but please do not joke about violent. Oh no, that's the wrong place. No.
That's right.
I appreciate the support, but please do not joke about violence towards Emma. Joke about her being held accountable. Why would you joke about her being held accountable? That doesn't even make sense.
What joke could you make about that?
That wouldn't make sense because then like joking about her being held accountable would mean like not holding her accountable.
Yeah, that's
so like
true. I think the point was don't threaten her with violence, just maybe interact healthier with it. I think that's the point.
So in another post, she said that Emma was also transphobic to her by mocking her voice. We're all sitting around and I'm copying Cody's accent. Ross wrote, didn't know he had one. Emma then copies my voice and laughed and drops it several octaves. I was shook. She read me for blood with my own words, of course. I was self-conscious about my voice on set after that.
You know what's interesting? Like reading through this and like talking to you about it, it engages a different understanding of the situation.
Is it because how I put character into what I'm
no,
reading?
it's because because I think that you understand that women are bitchy. Some women are bitchy. And I don't really account that when I talk. Like when I talk about something like this,
I think that you genuinely like want to see the good in people.
Yeah, that's
and I
true.
think that sometimes that, and I don't think that it's a bad thing, but I think that sometimes like you see the good, like when people are just being like
bad people,
cunts.
and it can actually lead me to having negative experiences with other people. And that's one of the things that's very positive with you because
yes,
we're not going to get into it, but I've had interactions with other people before. My wife's like, that's not a good person, and then I experience it, and they're not a good person, and now I'm like, damn.
And then I'm right.
Yeah, and she gets satisfaction of that. But for me, it's like if I was in this situation and I made like a silly transphobic joke, it would just be to make somebody laugh, and I wouldn't want them to be upset at any capacity, and I would feel horrible if I made them. But now you're like, yeah, I think that she's a mean bitch, and now I'm reading through it like that, and I'm like, wow, like that makes more sense to me. And this is like, to me, it's like she's getting a sense of self-satisfaction out of just being rude and upsetting people. Whereas like when I joke, I try to make people laugh. So it's interesting listening to this through your perspective. That's why I like doing this. I like doing stuff like this with you.
What the fuck is Cody?
I don't know.
It says Cody. Oh, Cody likely refers to Cody Fern, who co-starred with the two actors on American Horror Story, 1984.
Sounds like a tree.
This exchange all took place on the day of the premiere of American Horror Story, Delicate, in which Roberts returns to the franchise, co-starring with Kim Kardashian I said that weird. Kim Kardashian for the first time since 1984 season in
Cody
2019.
Is her gay husband.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You said Michaela's voice.
Stop it. Okay, so here's my overall opinion on this situation.
Yeah. I'm actually feeling more on the side of much more.
So
on the side of
Emma
Angela.
Roberts is a bitch.
Yeah.
But I do think that the tweet she put out after the phone call is still like pointed and not productive.
Gotcha. So what we have is Emma Roberts making shitty comments, then Angelica? I don't know.
Angelica Ross.
And then Angelica like venting about it on Instagram Live, which is perfectly understandable because she felt like she had nowhere else that she could vent. Then Emma calls and says, I'm sorry. Then Angelica, whatever. Then the woman on the right makes like a pointed Instagram tweet that's like, oh, kind of like, or whatever, Twitter, I don't care. It says, go fuck yourself. Kind of. But now I'm kind of like, okay, I think that's acceptable. Because you think Emma Roberts apologized genuinely, or do you think that she did it because she got a little bit of a heat?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was because she got heat for it. But like, I still stand that like, I feel like Angelica put negativity into her tweet.
Yeah. I agree, and I think that it's not necessarily most productive, but I also think I wouldn't hold her to the standard of having to be productive considering the way she was treated.
I don't care about the situation at all.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I don't care that she was being unproductive in that sense because I think it's almost warranted. I can understand having that response.
Yeah, I don't care. For the purpose of talking about the conversation, that was my opinion, but in like the real world, like I don't give a fuck that this happened, you know? Emma Roberts shouldn't be transphobic and that person shouldn't experience transphobia, but like I don't really care.
Yeah, because it's like expected. You know? It's like a fucking rabid dog gives you rabies, you know.
No.
But I like that conversation because I feel like I got a level of education through that conversation. I feel like more educated after we talked about that, my love. I feel woke.
You feel awoken?
Yeah, I think you need to pick my ear hairs off with the tweezer.
I want to wax them.
Yeah, we could do that. I'll let you do that.
Will you really?
Yeah, I will let you do that. I just want to get. It's just so long. I'm getting old man hairs.
Which ones? I like these ones.
Both sides. You can do it.
This is nice.
Feels nice.
All right. Are you frozen? You looked frozen.
I just like.
What the hell was that? What the hell is that? How you jump so bad?
I got angry. You make me angry.
I'm sorry.
I love you, but that fucked me up. You know I have OCD, and it's gonna ripple through my whole fucking body now.
Give us a dance. I just felt like it was a little delayed. That's why I was confused. I got scared myself. I didn't mean to make you angry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I understand. It's not as big of a deal as I made it. But when you do that, it like fucks my ticks up too. It's not even just like you hit my armpits, but now like my nipples are going. I have like a fucking ticks. My OCD.
I'm very sorry.
I'm sorry that I sound angry.
When I tickle your armpits in bed, it doesn't set off the ticks.
You don't tickle my armpits in bed. You lick my armpits in bed. It's different.
I only did that once.
It's a different feeling when I'm in that mood for it. Okay.
You're never in the mood to be tickled. Are you telling me that you are in the mood to be tickled?
No. Oh my god, enough. We're talking about this too much. We're giving away too much information.
Hello? Who is this man?
trying to affirm your boundaries. You want to talk about all the armpit stuff we do in bed?
No.
Okay, there we go.
You're being weird now because I made you upset. I'm sorry.
I am a little upset. I know that I'm being a little disproportionately angry, but I'm working through my anger right now. Okay.
Okay.
I love you so much. You didn't do anything like that as wrong as my response doesn't warrant you feeling bad in the way you do, but I need to be able to have the time to be as angry as I am.
Yes.
I love you very much.
I love you
have
more.
Okay. Okay. What are we doing next?
I don't know.
All right, give me this. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. Do you want to do this Eugenia Cooney thing?
If you want to.
I don't. Everybody's saying, "Hey, yo, pee pee poo poo chat." You remember that pee pee poo poo?
What I like is that we're always so serious about things, or like the way that we like talk about things. Like, I like that people can't tell, especially when we're saying like things that are perverted. They don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah,
you know. I think that's silly.
That's the fun part about being so sarcastic, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw this Eugene. I don't even know if this is gonna be like a whole big segment or just like a quick little quip. But I saw this video. We're gonna mute it. You don't even need to wear earbuds. It's just her dancing to some song. I don't remember what song, but she's dancing, and I've seen a lot of negative comments on the video about her, and they're very annoying. And I want to come from a place that's not terminally online to discuss why I find it so annoying. I know that Eugenia Cooney struggles with her anorexia, and that's her journey. That's her struggle. Everybody copes. Some people cope worse than others. We don't cope perfectly well either. So I'm not going to sit here and judge like her in any significant capacity. You know, we can look at anybody and see that there might be different ways that we would think there is room for improvement. You might look at somebody that's very skinny and say they might need to gain weight. You might also look at us and say that we need to lose weight. And we're not necessarily wrong, but there's some comments that just don't need to be expressed. And I feel like this is an instance of virtue bullying, where you're looking at somebody who's enjoying their life, they have anorexia, and you saying something out of your like false virtue bullying concern isn't going to change anything or be productive at all. Nobody in their comments are just full of people that make a video with Nick Avocado, basically treating her like she's just a lol cow. We should write English papers about Eugenia as a phenomenon. The human body never ceases to amaze me. I ran to the comments. It's just like constantly harassing her. This doesn't help in any capacity. None of these people care. And this isn't helping her. If her coping mechanism is to have a bad relationship with food, then how is you bullying her going to make her have a better relationship with food? That's all I really want to say. I just think it's so stupid and annoying. Like you don't have to you don't have to comment about how you think somebody in this capacity is like it's in such a wrong place. Like you're not being productive, you're not being helpful, you're not her friend, you don't care about her. It's just an opportunity to virtue bully people. That's it. That's what I want to say. I just find it's just beyond annoying. If she was an overweight person, then we would see people in the comments defending her. But because she's not, there's nobody that's defending her for what's going on. There's not a single person in here that's like not. There's nobody in here that's like, hey, it's toxic to be so aggressive about her body. Let her struggle herself and hope that she finds proper methods to deal with whatever struggle she's going through. That's what she needs. But none of you are being productive. Nobody on the internet is helping her. You're not helping her by leaving a bullying comment. Mm-hmm. You're just here to harass her. You just want to bully her and you feel justified in it because nobody's saying otherwise. And if somebody does, people have a meltdown and they'll start justifying it by, well, Eugenia's done this, that, and the other thing in the past, and like, why hasn't she fixed herself already? And why, just like, because you're stupid and don't understand mental health in any capacity and how difficult it can be to do anything. And we understand that like overweight people, these are the same people who buy into like overweight people, understandably so, having a bad relationship with food and overeating as a toxic coping mechanism like we do. And so like these are the same people that are like, oh my God, yes, queen, to any overweight woman or person. And like they'll understand that like from a super valid perspective. But then it comes to somebody who's like underweight and we can't apply the same level of logic to her. It just irritates the shit out of me because this is also like a body positivity conversation. And it's like body positivity is for everybody but what? Eugenia Cooney? Like, oh, well, I know her relationship on the internet. Like, I know that all her drama and tea, and I think that shut the fuck up. If somebody knew the details of your life, they would be able to criticize all the dumb shit that you do too. So why the fuck are you so aggressive against her? And then some people bring up Amber Lynn Reid, and they do the same thing to her, I guess, in the opposite direction. So fair enough, but. You know, it's just irritating. It just fucking bothers me. And nobody ever stands up and says, this is body. If we're going to sit here and defend people who are overweight because they're struggling with their eating, why are we not defending people who are underweight and trying to have that conversation too? So, I mean, I don't know. Kind of triggered me a little. I don't know if you have anything that you want to really say.
My opinion on Eugenia is that I think that people should stop consuming her content.
Okay, why is that?
Because I think that part of her content is showing how skinny she is.
Okay.
And this is nothing to confirm it. I have no evidence of this.
Right, we're not big Eugenia Cooney watchers.
But I wonder if psychologically, like, the smaller she gets and people saying that is, like, affirming her
That's
behavior.
Interesting. Okay, I get what you're saying, and I'm only saying it back to you so because this helps me understand what you're saying. You're telling me that she might, we don't know for a fact, at this point, have a toxic relationship with getting this type of negative feedback in a way that affirms her not getting into a healthier place. She's just like, well, I get attention when I do this, so I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that could be like a motivator for anybody.
Sure.
I'm curious because I do know that she at some point went to like a treatment place and she did. I think she was looking like she was a bit healthier for a period of time.
Sure.
And this news video is the worst I've seen from her. But like I say with everybody else, I think that when you stop giving people attention, well, this is a combination of a few conversations, right?
Sure, yeah.
When somebody is on social media for work, all you do is be on social media, and it like engulfs?
Yeah, engulfs.
Like your whole life.
Okay.
So it's unfortunate, but I do think that like if you stop giving her the attention, if she stops getting the views, it will like take away from the social media presence in her life eventually.
Maybe. I mean, it also might cause her to do something even more drastic for attention. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
maybe, but I think that there's like an ebb and a flow of everything, right?
Yeah,
and so, but like if she doesn't have attention, then she eventually won't have the attention to make the content. And maybe she will like really focus on herself.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from what you're saying is stop giving her attention for specifically for like her weight related attention. Like if she makes a podcast where she's having a conversation with somebody, give that as much attention because like that's great. But when she makes the content specifically about her body in a way that's like negative to her, don't give her the attention for that.
Yeah, and like of course there's the chance of not engaging with her content can make things worse, but that's not my fault.
Sure. Well, there's at the end of the day, there's not every potential, well, for lack of a better term, treatment method is going to be a guarantee. But all you're saying is she's probably has a very negative relationship, or she has a relationship with her weight. And getting views for that is not good for her. And so if we can try to remove that, and then she would have to go through basically like what is it called, a detox, or what is it called when you get off drugs?
detox off
Is
drugs.
that what it is? Yeah, basically, because that's like you're detoxing off of, I guess, some kind of like chemical like serotonin or whatever chemical response that's giving you positive affirmation. When you get a like, oh, they like this, I'm going to keep engaging in this behavior. It can be very addicting. After she gets through that, she might be able to have a more healthy relationship with herself and her content.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. All I know is that like any part of this girl's demise is not going to be because of me, because I'm not feeding into her.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's fair. Jesus, that was a rough one. I know I respect everything you just said, but damn, like you could be harsh in a positive way, I think, sometimes. Fair enough. You wouldn't be friends with Eugenia Cooney? Eugenia Cooney?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I think I would go out. Well, what we do. Damn. What the hell would we do? Damn. Top 10 first hangout ideas. All you can eat sushi. All you can eat buffet.
Stop.
Hibachi. What is that one place? Hot Pot. Half apps at Applebee's.
No, because if she
so good. Texas Roadhouse with the rolls. These are my top 10s. I don't know what to say. Getting specifically picking up pizza from Domino's because it's cheaper. Oh, she loves Disney. Eating at Disney is a huge thing for me. It's 50% of Disney.
These jokes that you're making are not nice.
Okay.
And besides,
yeah,
you know what happened? Like, did you know?
Well, she does like Disney. I would like to go to Disney with her. That'd be cool.
Like, I think it was the Holocaust. Like, people, like the Jews that were in like I'm having a bad brain fart. Where were they?
Like in camps?
Yeah.
Where did they go here?
Like,
oh, I know what you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about how like she would have to be reintroduced to food in a positive way.
Slowly, because like they like got a lot of food and it actually made some people die because they were starved for so long.
Yeah, when you don't eat for a long time, your body gets almost used to it in some capacity, and you have to start by, I think the way you start is by an all liquid diet. This is actually a real thing. So you have to start by giving yourself electrolytes and then slowly introducing soups, and then it takes a week or so to like get yourself back into a space where you can eat like food normally again. So it would actually be a very probably a much more complicated process for her to get back there. It's fair.
Something else I just want to point out, like, yeah, like, is she explicitly talking about her body? No, but look at how many of these videos is her standing sideways.
Yeah, to show off her body.
Sideways.
Yeah.
And that's how you see like how horribly small she is. I mean, I hope she can recover one day.
Yeah. Maybe we can go to Disney together. I just want to go to Disney.
What?
So I just want to go to Disney.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't see any Loungefly bags here. Eugenia, take a look at our Loungefly content. Okay, interesting. That went to an interesting. We had a much more intelligent conversation about that than I thought we were going to. You want to talk about this? What are you laughing for?
I want to tell you something.
Go ahead, yeah. Oh, turn it off?
Privately.
Oh my. Okay. She told me a joke that she didn't want to say. Oh my god. Okay.
But now I got it out, so now I could continue.
Okay. That would have been like fucking 2021 a Papa Gut era joke there. That would have been rude. That's terrible. All right. Listen, we are going to talk about this.
Speaking of commenting on people's bodies.
Oh yeah, that works out very well as an introduction. We have been putting a lot of effort into clips content across our YouTube, our TikTok, and our Instagram, and you should go follow them because despite the fact that they are getting lots of views, they are not necessarily getting lots of followers, right? You see that we have 154 followers on our Rob and Dan Instagram. All the links are in the bio, and you see that the views are pretty good. 885, about 1,400, 1,100. Then you get down to this one with 194,000, and yet it only manifested in about 5 new followers. Our TikTok is somewhat similar, isn't quite as poppy, but the point I wanted to make here is I'm going to play the thing for them, what the joke is, but we could obviously use the productive followers and productive views, but this video in and of itself wasn't particularly productive, I'm going to say. This was a funny little segment that we had made from last week's episode or the week before. I don't really remember. And it was silly. It's just a joke about numbers. I'm going to show it to you.
It's like million compared to billion.
A billion is 1,000 millions. You don't need to listen.
We got to go down to like a scale. Is it like 1 to 100? Like
1 to 1,000.
dot.
1 billion is 1,000 millions.
There's too many ones.
$1 million is $1,000.
Just move on. What?
I think it's a funny clip. It's a silly, funny clip where it's like you're almost making fun of yourself a little bit, and you're having fun with yourself. And first of all, and not for nothing, but who needs to know how much a billion is? Let's be honest here. Dude, like people are like, oh, some people there's a lot of toxic comments, is which we're gonna be getting at. But some people are like, I guess she didn't pass math in school. I was in advanced math, and we never talked about a billion. It was never relevant. We always talked about adding fucking letters to numbers.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you didn't learn this in school? Like, not really. Like, we never really had to understand the concept of a billion because, like, nobody's engaging with that in school. Math and whatnot is not about billions. So it's a funny little joke that's like, oh, how much is a billion? Ha ha ha. It's a very high number. It's hard to conceive how big a billion is in any true capacity. That's the whole thing. It's full of women are stupid, and she should know how much a billion is because she eats a billion cheeseburgers. Not a single negative comment towards me. And
no.
I've never.
The only negative comments towards you are saying that like, you should divorce me and that you shouldn't have kids with me,
which is upsetting. It's like Jesus. It's like if it was a guy saying the same thing, people would have just LOL'd there. I genuinely feel that way. And like I understand that like years ago I was on the other side where I would like make fun of everybody and I was like, haha, everything's fun. And I still enjoy jokes. But dude, I never would have perceived that like women get relentlessly bullied for their fucking weight. Worse than we're both fat. And I never get criticized for being fat. And then like I've had videos that I would say where make me look even dumber than usual, than you in any capacity. And yet I don't get harassed like this. And it's insane. We went through there and like reported the accounts.
No, and that's the thing. Like,
you're not going to find the comments. Sorry, you're not going to find the comments on there because we deleted all of the comments and we blocked everybody who did that because we do not want those people to be engaging with our content. Like that's not who we were trying to get to. And I almost look at the silver lining as like, good, we got to get rid of like a couple of hundred people from ever looking at our content again because we don't want we don't want that audience. So sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it was just rude. I was gonna say, like, for me, like, it's hard because, like, I'm not a pussy, so I like, fight, like, wanting to delete things.
Yeah, that's why I
But
did
at
it.
the same time, like, I don't want to, like, allow that stuff. Like I said, people, and that's what I hate about social media and why, like, I never want to do social media because, like, I don't think people should be allowed to be disrespectful. So I have a hard time not engaging in the disrespect. Which is where it started. The first comment on this video said something like, you shouldn't have kids with her.
Yeah.
And then they said, like, I'll take care of that or something like that.
Okay.
Which I think they were trying to say, like, they were going to, like, they were taking responsibility for, like, saving you by telling you not to have kids with me.
Oh, okay, sure.
But then I was like, this is so stupid. I'm going to engage with it. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, I'd like to have children with somebody I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
Which that was funny.
Okay.
But then ever since then, like, it really what? All cheeseburger comments.
It's a lot of, let me be honest with you.
I don't understand. Today,
I don't understand because I'm the one that likes the cheeseburgers, okay?
You know what somebody posted today and I deleted it? They just posted a GIF of Squirtle fucking changing into whatever the big guy is.
Oh, blast. Yeah, they're just trying to say you're getting fat. Yeah.
Yeah. Because 1,000, a million, a billion.
Yeah, because people, to me, it's just insane. And I really don't get it. And I kind of want to talk about this because I feel like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I feel like both men and women struggle with their validity and self-consciousness differently, generally speaking, on the internet. When it comes to a woman seeking validation on the internet and trying to feel better about themselves, they'll post a picture of themselves and then women will generally gas them up. And some people might say that it's toxic, and maybe it is sometimes. But when it comes to men, if a man posts a picture, men don't gas them up. Men are very bad at gassing other men up. And so instead of gassing somebody up on the internet, where women seem to do that more, and I'm not saying that there isn't an issue with the way some women interact, but men, instead of trying to pull someone up, they try to bring somebody down to their level. So men are on the internet. It's like, oh, two fat people exist. One of them happens to be a woman. The content was completely unrelated to weight. Let's make it about weight and bully the shit out of this person relentlessly. Because since I can't feel better about myself, I can't seek out healthy affirmations of myself and who I am as a person, I'm going to try to bring you down to my level. That's what I feel like that it is.
Yeah.
And I just it's just embarrassing that you are, these people who do this, it's usually young men. You're just as insecure as the people that you are criticizing while you pretend that you're not insecure. Like every time you go and bully a fat woman, you're the one that's insecure. You feel shitty about yourselves. Your mom's probably morbidly obese. You probably eat like shit. You probably hate yourself. You probably don't have any friends. You're probably
are fucking the fat girl.
You are like the fat girl's the only one that's gonna. That's what it is. The fat girl's the only one that's gonna want to fuck you, and so you bring them down so that they will be willing to fuck somebody who barely showers. Like that's what it comes down to. It's just like, dude, engage in better protocols on like being a person. So instead I'm sorry. I'm just on a rant. Instead of going out of your way to find women to bully for being fat, go find a guy to go compliment. Go be a supportive man. Women seem to support women more than men support men. Go be productive with your time. Go find a fucking fat guy's post and go tell him he looks nice with his belly or something. Why not do that? Instead of you're just trying to find somebody else to bully. You know what I mean? Because you're not helping anybody change their weight. Nobody's changing their weight because they get 1,000 comments that's about how fat they are. Sorry, I'm not actually crying. I have something legitimately in my eye. I'm not afraid to cry. I'm not a fucking pussy. But you're not changing anything, and you know that. It's virtue bullying. It's, somebody's fat, that you shouldn't be. We shouldn't be fat. We understand. So because of that, we think we're helping. We're pretending that we're helping to justify us bullying.
That's not them, though.
Some people do that. This is the dumb fucks that are like, you shouldn't be fat, so I could justifiably bully you. But these are the people that are completely anonymous and they can barely spell or read. They're fucking morons.
Yeah, it's just a really weird experience. Especially on a video, which is funny because there's a video.
Thank you. Someone said they love the shape of my body.
There's a video either not too long before, 2 videos after, where I talk about being over 300
I want everything
pounds.
to be different or different positions. Like,
can I just say that? I enjoy different positions, but
that's a. Did they?
Well, it's a crying face.
So it's
a crying face. I think that's
the
crying
least
and
effort
laughing.
position.
Yeah,
that's a cry. That's like a funny laugh.
You do a few different positions, but how many can you do?
That was fun. You want me to finish it?
No, this ain't fucking gymnastics. I'm over 300 pounds, bitch. Like, maybe if I wasn't, we would be doing different shit. But
Oh my god, I love you so much.
I want.
It's a funny clip.
And now everybody's gonna go make fun of me on that. But no, it's that video was so stupid. And listen, don't let them get to me. I'm not gonna pretend that it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
That's stupid. It hurts my feelings. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think
that's
fair.
What I'm going to say is that I would appreciate people that do support us interacting with our content on these other pages to help it get to more people that we want to interact with.
Yeah.
Because really the amount of comments that we've had to delete from this video has been way too much. It's, right now our Instagram is just it's not in the right hands.
Yeah, it's not in the right audience. And here's the thing, because obviously we want people to engage with our content so that we can get promoted.
And new people.
Well, yeah, but we want to get promoted more. We want to get out there more. We put work into our clips and into our content. And it would be awesome if you guys followed it just from a creator perspective. But then just from a human perspective, get it the fuck off of my old audience's page. Get it to
No, it's not. What are those called? What are those toilets that move around?
The skibbity bop toilet meme? What the fuck are you talking about?
What the hell is a rent-a-potty called?
What the fuck is happening? Oh my god, we're in 2 different spots. I don't know. I get it.
I was thinking about the grossest toilet these people could live in. What is it called? A porta potty.
We were not on the same wavelength.
That's where our
on that
Instagram is right now.
So we got the Instagram, we got
the
TikTok.
hell did you say?
We're not even gonna talk about it. I don't feel like explaining the most fucking dumb meme ever, but it made sense because I feel like people who like that meme would be like dumb little bullying kids. But yeah, from just a human perspective, you know, interact with it, a like, a share to your friends that aren't assholes. You know, it goes a long way. It's an awesome way to support us. So it'd be cool. You know, and it would that's a great way to support us for free. You know, just watch 30 seconds of us every day or a minute because we post a lot. You know, that's pretty much it. But I thought this was like annoying. And as a man, it's a very interesting experience to have because I'm not a woman. And so I don't understand what it's like to be bullied as a woman for my weight. And
for existing. Yeah,
let's just be very clear. For existing. I feel like.
So like I said in that other video talking about how big I was, or I'm not out here like dressing in clothes that are too tight on me and I'm shaking my shit around.
Yeah, but
I'm literally just talking.
You notice that like the videos where you're like, because we make some fun self-deprecating humor, like when you're talking about like, hey bitch, I'm you know, I'm heavy, like I can't be doing anything crazy in bed. Me too, I'm fat as fuck too. Well, I didn't mean like that, but you know what I meant. I'm big too. Nobody goes after us for that one because you are like, yeah, you're having a little fun with yourself. But the second that it's something else, oh, you're fat, you're dumb, you're this, you're that, you're other thing. You know, meanwhile, these guys barely passed 3rd grade. So,
if you could follow us, I would appreciate it. And more importantly, if you see other people acting this way, speak up to them.
Yeah, hit them. Don't do that. Intrusive thought. It's not my fault that I said it.
Intervene. Don't be a bystander.
Don't be a bot. So, yeah, that's that. I'm happy we talked about that, though. I'm happy we got that out. Maybe using hashtags probably to get to different audiences is probably smart.
Yeah. Wow. Still follow us, please.
Yeah, my thing is I'm like, oh, let it organically go to where I think it should go. But you're probably right about hashtags. So, yeah.
How long have we been on?
We've only been on for 2 hours and 25 minutes. We have a couple more segments to do. I know that you're in a rush, but I only get 3 hours with you a week to do this, and I enjoy it. Okay, and we are content machines. Are we missing a podcast when we go to Pennsylvania with your mom?
We might.
Okay, so then we have to pump out content. We might just go. Oh, we talked about doing like a regular live stream or something at some point. Of just like a phone on the phone or something, maybe.
What?
Okay, we're on a different.
We're going away the week. We're going away on the 14th. We'll have breakfast there on the 15th. When we drive home, if we're home that night and you want to stream, we can.
Yeah.
Or we could just say we're gonna stream the night of Monday night, the 16th.
Are you working that day?
Yes.
All right, we'll see. One of those two would be good. Okay. Well, anyway, we got some other stuff, I think. We got a few things. I mean, this one we're probably not going to ever get to. The conservative. I don't think this is one I actually wanted to look at. I'm kind of interested in this. This is just a police officer thing. There's just a couple of different things. I feel. Did we want to have a conversation about hugging and consent? Or is this too much to have right now?
It's not too much for me.
Oh, damn.
We don't have to do it.
I'm a little burnt out on intelligence right now, to be frank with you.
Okay, you're the one asking me.
Okay, I was hoping that you would say no, so I didn't have to. I could be like, yeah, it's my wife's fault. I'm a little burnt out on that. Like the first segment we did was like really positively intense, and like I don't think I have the capacity to have a productive conversation about hugs and consent. That's fair. So I want to have unproductive conversations about poop and fart. But I still want to do that for maybe potentially next stream is have a conversation about hugs and consent, if that's fair with you or fine with you.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
You make all of the segments.
Stop. You have a say. Okay, everybody. I think this happened like a week or so ago. This was surging on the internet. This video is only 3 days old, so foot in my mouth, am I right? But I can't explain too much because it's a little bit, intense. But basically, there was a young person who happened to be a girl. This is how you tiptoe around community guidelines. Just like pausing for the first 30. You don't do what my wife does and starts cursing at the beginning of this podcast so that we get demonetized on the video. Follow our Instagram and TikTok in the description. Anyway, this young girl She was talking to an older person on the internet. And again, I'm censoring my language to not be explicit. And the dad did the right thing and called the police officer. And the police officers effectively blamed her. That's the way I interpret it. And so we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this video and then give some commentary on it. It's only 2 minutes. Don't worry, babe.
Just before 7 p.m. on September 14th, Columbus police dispatchers received a call from a concerned father after going on his 11-year-old daughter's cell phone.
I found some text messages on there from somebody that I know to be, it's a grown man.
Just to be very clear, this is why you're always supposed to be overly intrusive with your kids' stuff and steal their phones and invade their privacy. You agree?
No.
Go through their phones. Do you agree?
No.
Well, then how would he have figured this out if he didn't go through a phone?
If he would have provided education first.
No, sometimes, and not everybody has first of all, not everybody knows, and we don't even know the right education to help educate young people from being aware of old or disgusting people. That's number one. Number two, it's not necessarily going to work. You got to do something. I don't think
you said that you don't want to have emotionally demanding conversations right now. I won't.
All right, we'll have a big, robust conversation about this another time. But anyway, I think that's being a little intrusive sometimes. It's not the worst idea to help your kids, especially if they don't know about it. Because if they don't know about it, then they can't have a negative interaction with that. I know this is more of a conversation. The way we usually talk about it is like, let the kids be in their room and have private conversations with their friends. And I agree with that. But like sometimes stuff like this and you want to give them their level of privacy. But I feel like sometimes some things get a little kooky.
I think I have too many questions about how the situation came about.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue.
Before I could get into what my reactive would be.
Gotcha.
And I do believe it's somebody that he's already got her to send him inappropriate pictures of her. And I didn't know if we just sent somebody out here, maybe they could look at the phone, maybe he could get caught. I don't know. They could do something about it.
Okay, hold on. He sent her photos or she sent him photos?
Oh, both.
Two Columbus police officers responded to that home more than 4 hours later. Shortly after, the man who called answered the door. This is the interaction that has now gone viral. It was sent to us by Columbus police, who have redacted the video of the conversation, but left the audio in place.
That's fine. There's not much there. It's just the police officers on his doorstep.
But now, it's very costly, obviously.
Well, it still happened, though, right?
Yeah. I just the whole point. I just wanted to go through and talk to her. And I saw her realize what this was. I mean, reality is not much you can do about it, is it?
I mean, she could probably get charged with child porn.
Ooh, she can?
Mm-hmm. She's creating it, right?
So just to be clear, because I've looked into this a little bit, technically in some states that are very far behind when it comes to monitoring of the internet, you could technically get charged with this, but there's no way that a prosecutor would ever do that. You'd have to be a moron to think that they would ever go like, yeah, let's charge the 11-year-old girl, because technically the laws that we have in place could be interpreted in a way where she would be guilty of distributing. So the police officer, I think, is a fucking moron and shouldn't be giving legal advice about any of this. Because to me, I was like, what is the productivity of this? Does she think that she's trying to protect them, or is she just trying to avoid doing paperwork?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where my brain goes to.
Doesn't matter. He's still making porn.
No, she's not. She's being manipulated by grown-ass adults.
Is she taking pictures, though?
Yes, I don't know. She
Keep back. Not serious.
As those two officers
I just
walked away,
I'd be like, okay, and shut the fucking door.
That's what he does. And he shuts the door and then he yells at him a little bit.
Okay.
But that the reaction's it's a very short video. I watched it without the censorship, but I figure if there's a reason for the censorship, let's leave it in.
one makes a comment.
She's taking pictures of herself naked. She's creating child porn. Is that wrong? Nope.
I spoke with Columbus police.
I think they're just trying to mock and be like, is that even like, oh, but he doesn't think that's wrong? That's probably the tone that it sounds like for me, right? For her. Like she's like, oh, that's not wrong kind of a thing. Am I interpreting that, do you think, correctly?
I think so.
Like she's just mocking and being like, oh, you think that this guy did such a bad thing, but she's 11 years old. 11-year-olds are making poop in their pants, so that's obviously wrong, but we know
so
that.
Stupid.
Well, it's true. We know it's wrong, but if a fucking 30-year-old's shitting their pants, you have more sympathy for the 11-year-old. Although, sometimes those 7-Eleven taquitos will go right through you, baby. So you have a little sympathy for me as well. But yeah, like mocking the situation is wild. It's wild. To mock a girl. Like, how do you have no sympathy for this 11-year-old girl? I don't get it. I really don't. It's you know what? It's a woman cop. I'm just kidding. No sexism here. Sexism free zone.
Elaine Bryant today on camera for the first time since the incident.
Every victim of crime deserves to be treated with dignity, compassion, and decency. What I saw in that video did not reflect those actions.
Bryant says as soon as she heard about the incident, an officer reached out to the family to apologize and reassure that father they would investigate.
Well, that's good. At least whoever that was, I don't know if I guess they were higher up in the police, whatever. At least they did something about it. But Jesus Christ, I wonder if it had to go social media viral before they actually reached out, because this was going on for like a week or two before that. So I wonder if it like if they never posted this on the internet, nothing would have happened.
I've said from the beginning since I've come here, if you're doing the right things for the right reason, I'm going to back you and make sure that I have your back.
And again, I'm sorry for pausing so much. If she didn't know how to parse, the police officer didn't know how to parse through that information, and she, let's be very generous, and she was like, oh, it's an 11-year-old, I think legally she can get in trouble for what she's doing. Why not call like dispatch and try to talk to your fucking sergeant or whatever? Like, why just be like, she could get charged? Okay, bye. That's why to me it sounds like you're doing the most to do the least. You're just trying not to have to do paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I interpret it. And it's like, if that's how you're dealing with these serious situations, like how much worse is it getting?
If you do the wrong things, I'm going to hold you accountable.
She says CPD is looking at ways to ensure officers are prepared so something like this does not happen again. The incident is now being investigated by the Inspector General's office.
Thanks. I personally think both police officers should have like a suspension without pay, at least for like a day or two, just so that they get like hey, this was wrong. You're an idiot. I don't think they need to get fired over this, but there needs to be like, we're going to take serious action about this. That's how I feel. What are your thoughts?
Rob? I have a lot of what?
Rob.
They call me Rye. I was like, who the hell is that?
Rye.
I have a lot of thoughts about this situation. We're gonna have ham sandwiches on pumpernickel rye bread after this.
Oof.
Speaking of ham.
Yeah.
I'm not an ACAB person, but like I fucking hate cops. I know that there's good ones, and whatever. You know what? I don't give a fuck. In my personal experience, female cops are worse than male cops.
Really?
Because people feel like they have to be something.
Like they have to overcompensate?
Yeah, like even the tone that she said that, it was like, you know? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Like, she was very condescending. She's like, well, your 11-year-old's gonna go to fucking jail for life because she fucking got basically manipulated by an older man. She's got something to prove.
I fucking can't.
Let me take this one into my own hands. Your 11-year-old daughter is a fucking bitch. Like, sorry, that was a joke. Cut that out. I'm the editor. But but that's like the tone that she's operating with.
So like,
but let's just be clear. I think that male cops are also bad in different ways. I understand
100%. I have more problem with women because I am a woman and I read women to filth.
Gotcha.
For men, I'm just like, you're man, you're stupid, I don't care.
Gotcha.
For women, I guess I value them more. And I personally... What?
You value women more, so you have a higher standard on women.
Yes.
I mean, I understand it. I love you, and I love the honesty.
And so something that I've experienced in my professional growth is I've seen like other women, and I guess men do it too, but like I said, I pay attention more to the way women act.
Yeah, because you're a woman. I understand.
Is that like I see the different ways that women in
management?
Yeah, like management positions. Yeah, positions of power, like who is effective, who's not effective, and how, and like I see what being in that position of power like means to them or what they think power means.
Gotcha, yeah.
And a lot of times it means talking like this.
Like talking with a tone, like women, you're saying that the women will talk with like a performative tone to try to communicate.
Yeah, rather than just like knowing your shit and being firm about it.
They speak with confidence because I understand what you're saying. They don't.
I speak with confidence because I'm confident.
Yeah. Okay. What are you saying? You're saying that they just put on a performative tone to just be like, fuck you, like do what I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've had a lot of good and bad male and female bosses. I have more of a problem, I guess, with men, and maybe that's just because I'm a man and I police men more. And it's probably because you understand the how a woman is interacting with something, and I understand how a man is interacting. Because we had other segments where we talked about this, and it's interesting. you know, for men, it's a lot of power plays too. Male police officers, I feel like, are more ego. I think men in general are more ego driven. In the same, on the token that women police officers probably feel the need to overcompensate, male police officers feel the need to like assert themselves, just to like who's in charge, kind of a thing. Whereas like women are almost trying to perform like that because that's what they think is being in charge. Men are just like egotistical dickheads, and women are like, I have to emulate that to be a boss. Not all of them, but like in the managers or bosses, or I guess police officers in this instance, that's how I would look at it like. But I understand what you're saying. I think it's funny.
And then my other, I'm not even gonna talk about the whole like actual action that caused the police to be involved in this, because that's like a whole like topic that like to be discussed, about the 11-year-old distributing whatever
to like the adults. However, I don't even know how old he is or who he is. It sounded like it was, to be honest with you, and this is just pure speculation, it sounded the way that they were talking about it for the limited amount that we have, that like the dad almost knew who it was.
Yeah, or there was at least indicators that this was like an older person.
Yeah, or somebody that he might be.
Which, like, with, I mean, to be honest, I like, at least in my experience, like, I don't expect like 11-year-olds to be trading. So like, of course, it would be somebody older trading with an 11-year-old.
Yeah, we used to trade Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
when we were 11. Somebody stole all of my Pokemon cards once, and then I got them back.
I remember that story.
Yeah. I think a girl had a crush on me, so she stole all my stuff.
What? I literally didn't hear.
Yeah, it's fine. This is not important.
My other thing was that yes, officers need to be trained in a lot of things, because I think that it makes sense why they're not trained, because we didn't look at things the same in these systems.
Sure.
Like, we didn't have empathy before. We were just like, bad person, bad act, bad.
I don't think it's just an empathy problem. I think that empathy is a great motivator and should be the primary driver of how you interact with everything. So if a cop does something wrong or anybody does something wrong, you should lead with empathy to explain to them why those things are wrong. But on the other hand, there's also an aspect of people aren't being just punished for doing a bad thing either. You know what I mean? Sometimes people don't respond to the sit down empathetic conversation, and if they do, it takes a long time. Being empathetic to somebody is constantly reinforcing the understanding, the idea of empathy, and it's a long-term process, and it's a positive one, and it's worth the time. In a short term, though, you cannot. You can lead with empathy, but you have to follow it up with just like you being stern. And I think that there's an entirely long-standing issue of police officers being inappropriate at work in some capacity and not getting any repercussions when that's identified until it seems something comes out to be very public. And so like there needs to just be better punishments too, like suspend them without pay for a day, 2 days, but like they always get suspended with pay. That's a vacation.
Yeah,
the unions are too strong. They don't like, and I get unions are good, but like this is a different interaction. This isn't your boss at a factory. We're talking about police officers who get C's in high school, and it's their job to dictate how the rules are going to be enforced in society. I respect cops. I'm just saying that like it's not, they're not being enforced. They're enforcing us to do what should be considered the right thing, but they're not getting enforced to do the same. That's why you'll see cops get drunk and then they're like, all right, just get home safe, kind of a thing, because it's another cop. Pulls over, like, I have my card. I'm free of any fucking. There's too lack of accountability for police officers in general, I think.
But yeah, so I just think that they need training in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And also now and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg. I don't know if we're seeing it more or we're just looking at things from like a different, more educated perspective that we're seeing it. But like the cops are interacting with things that is like not their job. If there's somebody that's having like a psychotic break or an individual with an intellectual or developmental disability,
I'm assuming this is separated from this situation more.
Yeah, it's more just about cops.
You're just having, okay, sorry.
That are like having a meltdown, like to the point, because like in my job, if somebody's having a meltdown and we can only support them to a certain degree. Like cops could cuff somebody and take them down. We can't do that. Sometimes the people we support like are so out of control of themselves that they need somebody to take control for them.
Yeah.
But like, even though we do call the police to come in and do that, a police person's job is not to support a person with an intellectual development.
Yeah, it's just to enforce like physical and which is sometimes necessary. We talk
or like
about.
talking somebody off the ledge from trying to
like a
kill
cop is
themselves,
probably not going to be a great at doing that either. They're not some kind of a mental health professional. They probably couldn't really. That's not the crisis scenario that they could deal with. Now, if they can catch them, that would be good, you know. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. There needs to be different supports, and sometimes police officers are put into situations that they're not ready for or trained for, and that's understandable. This, I don't think, is one of them. Although you could argue, like, kind of like they don't know the law clearly.
Well, no, but still, like, I think that empathy and training is still a part of that. Of looking at, like, okay, like this is an 11-year-old child who was engaged in something. This is the parent that's calling. To me, that's empathy.
Yeah, if they were just more empathetic, they would have been like, okay, I don't know the specifics.
I'm distributing, taking pictures of herself, isn't she?
Well, I know something, a technicality about the law, and I need to let you know that because I'm a fucking idiot. Like, that's what it came off as. Is like, she needed to let you know she knew something you didn't. It's like when their little kid screams something and says, Mommy, did you know that caterpillars have 98 legs? And it's like, I don't fucking care. It's not relevant right now. I'm eating dinner. Until you found out he put caterpillars in your soup. Now it's relevant, but I don't know what I'm saying. But it's one of those things where people just feel the need to assert, I know something about this. I know something. I know. It doesn't really,
I don't think that empathy, especially for cops, is not a common sense thing. It's really not.
It's not. I think especially, I mean, if we're going to be charitable to the cops too, police officers sometimes deal with really fucked up shit every day, and so they.
I think that police officers get conditioned to be
shitty,
even shittier human beings.
Well, yeah, I think that
a lot of people. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this because I do have a lot of cops in my life, and I know a lot of people that I've known for a very long time that now at our age have become cops.
Do you also have a lot of racists in your life?
Yes. And so I do think that a lot of times people do join the police force genuinely and want to help the community and stuff like that.
I think it's how it starts for some people.
But I've also seen a correlation of people becoming more ismly, I'll say.
What do you mean?
Like there you go, but racism, any
sexism,
like anything.
Yeah.
In their progression, and there is like the boys club sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Among the end on Long Island, the cops' pay is crazy, and they all retire in their 50s with pensions for like ever.
Yeah, which is insane. I think their top pay is like almost $130,000 a year.
Like it's wild.
Full benefits, full everything. Meanwhile, we're paying $600 a month for, fucking healthcare that we still have to pay a $5,000 deductible on. Well, 7,000, but that's a different story. Yeah, what the fuck was I gonna say before? Oh, I was saying to be charitable. Police officers, they come onto the job and then they see some stuff that's a little fucked up every day, and they maybe not every day, but more frequently than us, of course. And that I imagine would wear you down. It would strip you of some of your empathy, and it would kind of have a negative impact on you. And we see that. That's why we do see disproportionately higher rates of physical violence or domestic violence between police officers and their spouses. And I think that's one contributing factor. I also think that there's probably a conversation to be had that the type of people who are drawn to be police officers are individuals that have authority issues, and they want to be like authoritative figures, and they want to wave their dick around. But yeah, I think it could definitely wear you down and have a negative impact on you. And I think that this is potentially an example of a police officer who maybe used to be a finely empathetic person and then came into the job and they just got worn down by a bunch of different situations where something happened, and now this just doesn't seem as serious to them, but it's your job is to take it seriously.
Yeah. I just thought of something. One more thing I want to add.
Yeah.
And this does not pertain. Why does that sound silly? Pertain, right?
Yeah, you're good.
To this topic, but I guess more just on a local level. And like, I'm talking like New York borough cops, like whatever. Like, I think one of the problems that probably leads to that, to more, especially racism, is that cops, from my understanding, are generally working the same areas consistently.
Okay.
So if you're continuously seeing the same acts in the same place,
but similar,
it's reinforcing to beliefs.
I understand what you're saying is like, hey, listen, if you're in an area that's like disproportionately like black and you're seeing a lot of violence in that black area, you're going to start to develop a bias against black people, thinking that they commit more crimes because of the color of their skin rather than like a complicated set of systemic issues. Yeah, it's, if you bring it to a different level, this might sound silly, but like if you work for like a fast food place for years, you might start to hate the hamburgers because they just start, like, you know what I mean? Or we see retail workers who work retail, and they don't have bad customers all the time, but there's that one customer every day that's a real piece of shit, and it's always a different person, and you start to hate customers. Different bad interactions. It doesn't have to be all interactions. It could be 1 out of 100. Well, it only takes a couple to wear you down and start to make you hate a certain group of people. And so, like, yeah, constant education and shifting people through different communities so that they can interact with different people. And then also making an actual concerted effort to get people from the communities to be the cops there too. Because, you know, all the police officers in the city, or at least most of them, they commute from Long Island. And
Yeah.
so they commute from Long Island. They don't know any of
Because
these
it's
people there.
also like for Long Islanders, like because Suffolk and Nassau is so high paying, they don't just take anybody. So a lot of Long Islanders will start like in Queens or like other boroughs and become cops there.
Yeah,
So then
like
they
the
could
city.
transfer to Nassau and Suffolk County.
Yeah, because they pay so much better. So they'll take that, they'll go and they'll work there. They don't know any of the people in those cities. They don't know any of the communities. They're not from those communities or in any capacity. And so they go and they work there. They don't. And I understand that you could argue, well, if they did know somebody, maybe they'd be a little more biased into letting them go. And maybe you're right. But at the same time, I think that a little more community empathy would be pretty positive. But then on top of that, they're taking that money from New York City and they're bringing it back to the Long Island, and they're not distributing into their own community, which doesn't have a positive impact on the money from New York, right? Because if you have a bunch of people getting paid decent salaries, spending the money in their own communities, those communities have more money circulating through them. There's more jobs, there's better jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And there's like a whole problem that kind of just continues to cycle over and over again, you know? Yeah.
I have one last fun fact.
Go ahead, give it to me.
My papa was too short to become a cop in New York. So they moved to Connecticut, and that's why my mom was born in Connecticut.
Wow.
And then once he was a cop there for a bit, he was able to transfer into the city.
Would he get stilts?
And be a cop. Well, because he was an already established cop. They accepted him.
Gotcha.
Isn't that funny? There was a height requirement.
Wow. That's pretty good. That makes sense. Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Very based on what? We'll never know. Get the joke? You don't care. All right. That was that. We did a 20 minutes or 25 minutes on a 2-minute video.
So transformative.
I mean, the rest of this is, what do we want to do?
I don't want to do that today.
You don't?
We could do it today.
No, you're burnt out on it. Why don't you want to do it today?
Because I'm not in fun mode. I could have like 7 more serious conversations.
Oh, you're in like a serious
But I'm not
mode.
in fun mode.
Is this something that's serious enough for you?
Do you want to talk about this right now?
A little bit.
I was harassed and was...
Yeah, I could talk about it.
Okay, we have this, we have hugging, and then we have this interesting segment as well. That's very serious. We gotta, you know what we should do? We should try to start with the fun stuff and then progressively get more serious as we go on.
Today happened naturally, though. Today was just a flow.
I know. I understand. I love you. I understand. I love you. Can we kiss? So okay, which one do you want to do? You know what? Let's take a little bit of a risk. Let's do something a little different. Which this isn't really different. We're talking about bullshit trauma. Anyway, I want to talk about this because this is a person on TikTok who I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm not going to lie. I don't think that they're a terrible person. But they're the person that has like the Lorax pronoun videos. Have you ever seen those before?
No, I have not.
They use a lot of, like, this is a video apparently about using the pronouns funny/funnies.
Oh, this is how you would use these pronouns videos?
Funny's pronouns.
Yeah, and I just think this is absurd. I'm 100% trans affirming. I don't think that I don't think that this creates a productive conversation about gender being a spectrum, because funny isn't a gender. And like, there's a conversation to be had about how gender is a spectrum and how people should be able to express themselves. And I just feel like this is distracting and it doesn't do anything productive. That's just but whatever. I don't think that she's a bad person. I'm not a particular fan of it. I mean, I understand if we want to have new pronouns, that makes sense to me. Like, hey, You know, we have a spectrum of male to female or boy to girl, and then there's stuff in between. And my pronoun represents me being 90% a girl or something, and this is just in my terms, and 10% a guy, and this is, I'm fine with that. It makes sense. Logical. Hey, there's a philosophical gender spectrum. I'm down with that. But funny, Lorax pronouns, gem pronouns, Among Us balls pronouns. That's ridiculous. Thank you so much, Barbecue Menchie, for the $2. Thanks for all the great content today. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. So anyway, because of that, I had a little bit of stank to this. I was like, I don't really care. I saw that she talked about, or they, excuse me, I really don't even want to get this wrong. I'm like, I unironically don't want to get this wrong. Okay, we're going to try to use them. I don't get the non-binary lesbian thing, though. That doesn't, whatever. I don't care. That's not important. This individual, this person, apparently they claim that they got bullied and in some capacity had a bad experience at a bar. I think it was a gay bar. And I initially heard about it and I was like, I don't care. I don't like this person. And then I saw a video on TikTok that's like, hey, I have never watched the actual video. I've only seen the responses to it. Did I say she again? Sorry. Thank you. I really am trying.
I know, that's why I'm correcting.
Thank you. Somebody watched this individual's video. Just to take your time, okay? But the effort is worth it, guys, so be respectful. Somebody, I think an actual girl, like, well, okay, I'm being stupid now.
Another
person watched this individual's video, they video for the first time, and they said, I've only been watching other people covering this person's video, and it's all been people making fun of them, and then I actually watched it, and I was like, wow, this is kind of fucked up. So it made me want to watch it. That's what I'm That's where I'm trying to go. All right, let's do it.
I was harassed and was kicked out of a gay bar, which should have been a...
They would love me at a gay bar, by the way. I'm what they call a bear. Like a little bit of hair here, you know what I mean? I got a good hairy chest.
Put it away.
Ooh, the boys love me. And old women.
Everybody loves you.
Hey, stroke the ego. We saw the meme the other day that's like when a dad goes into a restaurant and the waitress is being like kind to him because it's his job, her job, and he's like, I still got it.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's you.
I still got it.
That is you.
Let's be real, though. You play into it, too. Let's go.
A safe space, but wasn't. Not only was I kicked out, but my wife was kicked out along with me. So I made a video when I got home about how it felt to process that. Trigger warning.
Okay.
If you're able to watch, okay. But if you feel like this is too heavy, that is okay too. But before you go, I just want
to make a fat joke about us. I increase
just get through this horrible video.
Thank you for being you and protecting you, and I love you so much.
I honestly don't know what to do, but like...
Trigger warning. I'm crying.
There was like... a really bad experience. Basically, I was just getting a drink at the bar and they called both Azul and I ladies. After they were done making the drink, I went up and I was like...
I just want to be very clear. I'm a dude and I've never been misgendered before. I don't care. My thing is that I can understand, though, if you look at somebody who's expressing femininely, why you would assume that they're a woman. So, and I guess I don't understand how, like, a stranger would bother you. Because I understand that if it's somebody in your family and you're like, hey, I'm non-binary, I identify as they, them, please respect that. And them not respecting that, I get that. That's personal. But once there's a dickhead on the street doing anything disrespectful, I'll care, but I don't care. Like, you don't mean anything to me, you know? So I just wanted to express that, just on a fundamental level.
Like, some people don't refer to themselves as ladies, but it's okay that you didn't know. And in a gay bar, so we should feel safe. Too bad, turned it around. They got so mad at me, and they took the drink away from my wife, and I hit the...
Isn't a wife a girl pronoun? I'm trying to understand.
I don't fucking know. That's something too that, like, as a supporter of the LGBT community, like, if you, like, this is a genuine question.
I would say
if
partner.
you identify as non-binary, how do you identify as a lesbian, which is like women who love women?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No, because it doesn't make sense, only because somebody might say, well, because they're talking about biological women, maybe, but then trans men are men, but but they technically, that would make a lesbian somebody that could be attracted to a biological a woman, but a trans men are men. So then it's like, how do you parse through all this? To me, it doesn't make sense.
I know that you could be a non-binary person and a lesbian. You could be anything, but to me, I really do. One of the reasons why I try to understand definitions of things is because I try to educate the people who are against things.
Yeah, right. But
you know, like I really do have conversation like with my Grammy's friends.
Yeah, they're
who
very
think who listen to the news that tell them that Target's trying to turn your 5-year-old son into a girl. You know, I engage in those conversations with them, but in a productive way to get them to actually understand things. So like I do want to understand like how middle genders impact your identity with sexualities in the same way that I do. The other part of that being, and this is just a tangent,
why wouldn't you be a
myself,
pansexual non-binary? Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yeah, or like I try to understand like so say somebody's in a long-term relationship, say we're lesbians, right? Yeah. And we're in a long-term relationship and you're like, you know what, I'm trans, I identify as a man.
Which one of us is a butch?
You, because
I'm the daddy lesbian.
Well, you're transgender now.
Yeah, nice.
And you're
I'm a trans woman.
And no. You're a lesbian.
Gotcha.
Which is a woman. And then you then identify as trans, and so you're transitioning into a man.
Gotcha. Okay,
but we were lesbians. So if I continue to say that I'm a lesbian and I only like women, to me that's transphobic of me towards you.
Yeah.
Because then I'm still loving you romantically, sexually, whatever.
So then you'd be pansexual or something.
Yeah, and then so like I've had a lot of conversations with people who are like, my gender doesn't impact your sexuality.
Yeah.
And for me, at least my perspective, it does, because if I was saying that I was only sexually attracted to men or only sexually attracted to a woman or romantically whatever, then I would be like basically being transphobic. With my
I understand what you're saying. I think that sometimes the labels can get confusing, and we're obviously want to know the labels. Like we're not talking about this in a way to be like, you're wrong. I just want to understand, because sometimes I understand trans women, I understand trans men, I even understand trans non-binary for the most part. Sometimes it gets a little confusing when you're somebody who identifies as non-binary, but then you express yourself as in a feminine way. It confuses the shit out of me. What I will say, though, one thing is that I think that this conversation about us wanting to understand, which I think comes from a good place, has it distracted a little bit from what actually happened, which is apparently they got misgendered, and then it says not a big deal, but I'm not a woman, and then they had their drinks taken away from them. And if we believe their story is genuine and they're not lying about anything, that's fucked up. Like, what a stupid reason to take your drink away because you just like, you're like, I'm non-binary.
Yes.
So that I think we should try. We'll move forward with that more. Because, you know, we're exploring.
Yes, we'll go back to the topic.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am just trying to have a productive conversation, understand this stuff, okay?
Oh. I'm waiting.
The bar, because he was like, are you serious? You're doing the same thing to me. How? And then they kicked us out. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Like, how am I supposed to feel? This was the first time that I've told somebody I felt brave enough to tell somebody my identity. I just wanted to let him know, and I told him it's okay.
I feel the same way when I tell people that I collect lounge flies. I feel like I'm brave enough to tell you my identity is as a man who collects Disney Loungefly collectibles. I have a $5,000 Disney Loungefly. My wife has the collection, by the way. It was not mine. I would never. That's my identity. My identity? Disney adult. I'm proud of it. Who do you think faces more backlash, trans people or Disney adults?
It's a hard one, but I think most days it'll probably go to the trans individuals.
I personally think that it probably should be the other direction. Let's be real. Because a lot of these,
I think we're sorry.
A lot of Disney adults. Come on, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I love Disney, but sometimes you're crying over a guy in a costume. What are you talking about?
No.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I think that we have moved off topic and we should focus again on the girl the people. See, here I am. I'm just as bad as the bartender who took their drink away and then kicked them out the bar.
Well, you're not. We're doing all right. We've been correcting each other on the pronoun stuff. We're trying so hard. That's why it's so funny to me.
No, he was still mad at me for being myself and for my wife being themselves. Just her. We were kicked out so fast.
Here's my thing. Because it sounds like if I believe I think that they're probably being genuine. that sounds horrible. I just don't resonate with people crying like this on the internet. This is nothing new to trans people, but if I had anybody sitting here saying the same thing, I'd be like, okay, but why are you crying about it online? You know what I mean? I would feel that way. I'd be like, I just feel like it's not appropriate to cry about this type of stuff on the internet like this. I feel like there are probably in-person help, and this is the conversation about content creators and not understanding boundaries and how it's difficult to date content creators. I feel bad for this individual's partner because they're probably struggling with that too. Because now this person is making a video, the partner wants to be there, can console them, but the partner probably doesn't want to be on camera, so you see them kind of pacing back and forth, waiting for the, and it's like, you know.
Tried talking to the other person. He came over and was like, what's going on? It was another straight white man. When I told him he's just not respecting our identity. And
she said straight white man instead of gay white man in a gay
She's
bar.
so triggered. Yeah.
That's what my thing is, like, she's so triggered, she's buzzwording the guy.
She's so triggered that this guy was so mean to her that he like can't even be gay, you know?
Yo, yeah, I keep more.
So they're like assigning.
They're like, he must have been straight, because straight is, these are all slurs. These are like, you're a straight white cisgendered man, you're a bad person, and it's like, I like femboys. No, I'm married happily. I think we're all a little gay, but
I told you we should take the Kinsey scale test.
Yeah, well, we should do that one day. But no, that's funny. It's like she was so triggered that this guy couldn't have been gay because gay people are all good. I know a lot of gay people. I know more gay people than straight. No, I don't know that many, but I know quite a few. They're not all good. Sometimes they can be annoying. Sometimes they don't stop talking to you about their candles. Shut the fuck. I'm just kidding. I don't mind the conversation. I don't know if that they never watched this and see that. That was such a joke. I was kidding.
He's killing himself over there.
As a joke, but yeah, her thing is like, oh, if you're they're like, fuck.
I know. I keep on doing it too. We are really trying hard. We're not trying to be disrespectful.
I thank you for correcting me. We're trying so hard. Let's go.
And when I told him he's just not respecting our identity and I don't understand why. And he was like, you know what, just leave. And I got kicked out of a bar. Technically supposed to be a queer bar, but it's just gay white men. Yes. Oh my god, it was supposed to be a positive experience.
I'm a little confused because I don't, if it's like a gay bar, usually dudes go to gay bars? And then like women go to lesbian bars? Or am I just like completely off the bar scene? I just don't understand. I don't know.
I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. I guess
I don't care like, to explain anything.
I felt so.
Straight women also go to gay bars, right? So they don't get hit on by men, but then the men still hit on them. Because gay men hit on, it's for fun. And then I go to a gay bar, so they hit on me, and I feel better about myself because we're talking before about how that's good for your self-esteem.
Okay, Steve.
Okay, who's fucking Steve?
You said it like Steve Brole again.
I don't care. I'm a doctor too. Azul?
I know. It's so bad. I'm like, imagine if I didn't accept you for just being gay, dude. Like, are you serious? And he's told me, I'm being a gentleman calling you a lady. That's not something bad. Like, I'm just...
That sounds like an old dude. It leaves questions that demand to be answered for me, because for me, it's like, are we getting the full picture?
No, from a fucking crybaby bitch that says my pronouns or how to use flowers pronouns. No, listen, I don't care. I don't want to be too mean, but I hate this video and I don't care about it.
Okay.
I'm trying. But it's just crazy.
I'm not talking for a minute. I just want to be very clear because I know exactly what you're saying, and I want to make sure that we communicate exactly what you're saying. You're not saying anything negative to trans people. What you're saying is that this person is valid in their identity. However, it's their sensitivity that seems to be the issue. Coming onto the internet and crying like this over this is unjustifiable, and it comes off as very performative. If you felt the need to express this, you could have just had a conversation about your experience that's like, hey, this happened and it sucked, instead of crying on the internet. You obviously wanted people to see you crying in this vulnerable state to garner sympathy, and it makes me question the authenticity of everything that was going on. For what it sounds like to me is, for based on the way that this individual is proposing it, they went to a bar, they asked for a drink, the person called them a lady, then they were like, no, I'm actually non-binary, and then the person's like, get the fuck out. Whereas it might also be possible that
no, that's not even like,
that's what
I feel like
they
said exactly what happened.
You think so?
That the bartender was like, here, ladies, and they were like, oh, actually, like, we're not ladies, we use they them pronouns. And then I guess like the taking of the drinks, I don't understand how that happened. And then the person's like, oh, well, I was just trying to be respectful calling you ladies, I wasn't trying to be some type of way. Which, like,
everybody's just being sassy.
Because yes, there was probably sassiness involved. And like, yeah, people like call it, like, they probably weren't trying to be like, oh, I know you're non-binary, I'm gonna say something to upset you. Yeah. And like, yeah, if they're like, they like, I would, if somebody said that, like, oh, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm trying to whatever. Yeah. Like, yeah, probably they're bartenders handing out drinks. Like, do you think that they're invested in how you feel? No, only as much as for you to tip them.
Yeah, well, it's with anything then.
And then if they kept on going on and they were like, well, if you don't like it, then leave.
Oh, so
that's not even getting kicked out. That's just saying, like, if you're not happy, then get the fuck out of here.
Is that what they said? If you don't like it, then leave? Or did they say get out? Hold on.
That part. No, it's
and then this is crazy. This is wild. Hysterically crying over this, and then like recording and posting your partner comforting you. This doesn't make me feel bad for you in the way you want it to.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
Gay, dude. Like,
I'm trying to see exactly what he said to her.
I'm being a gentleman calling you a lady. That's not something bad. Like, I'm just sharing that part, and I just wanted you to be like.
And yeah, the right thing would have been for the bartender to just be like, okay.
Yeah, and whatever. But that's what I'm saying. It sounds like there's more to this story, potentially in some capacity, where we're not getting the full thing. Like, it sounds like there might have been like a back and forth, like, I don't know. It just like the crying throws everything off for me.
I'm being a gentleman. Like, okay, sorry, dad. Like, yelling, okay, sorry.
What would you like?
What would you like to hear? And like, it's not like we even talk a lot. It felt like.
Oh, let me just. I feel like I skipped some.
Sharing that part, and I just wanted you to be like, okay. Hey, sorry.
What would you like?
What would you like to hear? And like, it's not like we even talk a lot. It felt like a dad,
I feel like that's not true.
Yelling at you. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Dad's yelling can be scary. I wouldn't know. I don't have a dad.
I'm gonna have some water, and I'm okay. It's just hard.
One more thing that I wanted to add is.
Yeah, I feel like if you cut that middle part out and just did the intro and that, like, maybe we didn't.
I would have a different feeling if you weren't crying.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're trying to be emotionally provocative, and there's just no way like that. It just didn't seem like that's the response somebody would have if they got the shit beaten out of them. You know, it just seems like a disproportionate response.
That he yelled at my wife and told them that he sees.
I thought that that her wife was a. I'm so fucking confused. Okay, whatever. I don't even...
And so he will always refer to us as ladies. Bye. And at the end of the day, transphobia within the community is so disgusting. And it happens all the time, even if you don't realize it. Like making fun of neo-pronouns, yes, that's transphobia.
No, it's not. You've lost me completely at that point. I don't like you anymore. That's not transphobia. I'm not calling... This person's entire page is talking about Lorax pronouns. It's not transphobia. Like, oh my god, like, just stop. This is one of the biggest problems, and it's not the complete justifier for conservatives to like dislike trans people, because they just are bigoted and hateful, and they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just anti-science when it comes to everything, whether it's trans people, the environment, COVID, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what happens is you have people that are like, oh, neopronouns are real and valid. They're going on about Lorax pronouns, funny pronouns. That's not a gender. I'm fine with new gender terms. Like, you want to come up with different things that represent somewhere on the gender spectrum, 1000%. I'm on top. I'm fine with it. I have no problem respecting it. It makes sense within the understanding of a gender, not binary, right? Gender spectrum. That makes sense, But to sit here and call it transphobia when it comes to neopronouns, which to her is, or sorry, them, which to them is Lorax pronouns, that being transphobic because I wouldn't say that, that's stupid. And what happens is that conservatives look at that and they package all of trans people into that and they just go completely bonkers. You're just giving them ammunition. This isn't productive. Neopronouns isn't productive. It's not transphobia. Like, that's ridiculous. This to me sounds like this individual is co-opting struggles of people that have diagnosed gender dysphoria, that have significant amounts of distress associated with their gender identity not matching their assigned their assigned sex at birth, and they're just trying to live and have access to healthcare and not get hated on. And then this person comes into the space in what I can only interpret as a position of privilege and go, you need to respect people who want to be called flower. And it's like, do you think that you're helpful for the LGBTQ community, or do you think that this comes off as like a virtue signal? Because I don't know. If I was a trans person that was really struggling with my identity, and I was just hoping that my dad wouldn't berate me for the virtue of my existence, I would look at this person and go, "What? Fuck you." That's how I would feel about that. That would frustrate me.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you really think do you really think it's transphobia?
Making fun of they, them pronouns, that is transphobia. Refusing to use a pronoun that feels the most comfortable to a person because of something that they can't help. Going out of your way to make sure not to use that person's pronouns is so transphobic. If we don't unpack our internalized transphobia or homophobia...
What?
That didn't happen, though.
What do you mean?
Maybe where they just, was not listening. So were they just talking about what transphobia is in general, or to that thing that they experienced?
Well, I don't know. You don't think that they were told that they weren't they, them at the bar?
They they just said something about like going out of your way not to use somebody's pronouns.
Oh yeah, that's not what happened. Well, actually, now that you say it, though, did that person, like, what the ways that they talked about the interaction? It sounded like they had this interaction with this guy at a club or a bar or whatever, and they're getting the drinks, and then he called them ladies, and they got offended and said, "We're not that," and then they were like, "All right," they had like an interaction back and forth.
Yeah, and like I said, the person, like, it would have been better if the bartender in the situation they described would have been like, okay, and like moved on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, let's just get through this.
Yeah, how can we expect the rest of the world to? Let's not forget about the silencing of people of color within the community, and that these are things that people like me should be working on and through, or else things truly don't get better. This is our...
I'm not trying to be that person, but this person seems like the kind of person...
exhausting.
They're exhausting, and like people of color they've never talked to like a black person in their entire life. Not to be that guy, but it's like, this is a white person that's never interacted with a non-white people talking about, oh, we need to make sure we include people. We do, absolutely. But I just feel like you'd be afraid. You're the person that crosses the street when you see somebody because you're like uncomfortable. Like, I don't know. That's how I get a lot of people. I just feel like a lot of people virtue signal about this shit. A lot of this comes off as disingenuous when you have a whole fucking video crying that didn't need to exist. You could have cried and not recorded it and published it or put it on the internet. You could have just cried regularly and just like went through it yourself and then had the conversation, and it would have been much better. But I just feel like I don't think you give a shit about any BIPOC individuals in any meaningful way that would lead to a constructive conversation. You're just kind of like, ooh, BIPOC people. It's like trigger word, like as many words as you can. The same way where you're like, that guy can't be gay because he was mean to me, is like now you're bringing up BIPOC people to try to co-opt their unique struggles onto yourself so that you can like, look at me, I'm a good person. Like, I don't know.
Community. It was never made for just a few. And in this situation, I know I was lucky enough to be a white person. And because of this, I will never stop letting people know my truth. Nor will I ever stop introducing it in the most polite way that I can. And if that's not good enough for them, then their business, their friendship, their relationship, it's not good enough for me. Bye. Even if they have great food, great drinks, whatever, doesn't matter. They're not willing to learn. They're not willing to accept the damage that they've done. And in a lot of these queer spaces, it seems like the people that take up the most room are gay white men. And I think we need to do something about that.
One of the problems that I have with this is that part is true, and like everything else is not necessarily true. And it's just like you sprinkle, like, yeah, of course the space is dominated by gay white men. You see that all over TV because unfortunately in a white centric society, white people are going to have to be the first ones that get represented. It's unfortunate because the reality is if you want to educate an entire population of ignorant white pieces of shit, you have to start like, oh, let's just start with just gay, and then we can do gay woman, and then we could do gay, and it's just kind of like, and it's unfortunate. And like, absolutely, you see more like gay male white actors, and it's starting to change more and more, and that's how the representation is. And it's not necessarily wrong, but that like one factoid at the end of it, I don't think it's like a nice pretty bow of truth onto like an otherwise fucking dog shit video, crying and then weaponizing other people's struggles just as like a shield. I
don't think it was that nice bow at all.
No?
I think that like because their like energy behind it just made it seem like I hate white people.
Oh, you think that that's what it was? It was them trying to express that they just hate.
Yeah, like again, like the white man is the problem.
Yeah,
that's all I heard from what they were saying.
Interesting. I find it's very interesting to me that's usually, and that's interesting that you interpret it like that, because if that is true, there is a huge problem on the internet of white people being the most obnoxious when it comes to any issue on the internet, when it comes to like issues of race, in a way that is so destructive and performative. Like it's white people screaming, you know, fuck white people. It's white people screaming, you can't be racist to white people. It's white people that are desperately trying to distance themselves from, like, understandably, the historic negatives that white people have brought in different capacities, of course, but in the way that's like, I'm not them, fuck them, point and laugh, point and attack, that kind of a person. Whereas, like, I feel like, for the most part, when I've seen black people engage with this shit, they don't have this much like hatred and vitriol going on. They're just like, hey, we have fucking issues and we'd like to have them handled. But they're not focused on like, oh, you can't be racist away. It's just because, is that a productive conversation to have? Is like, you can't be racist away. Is that productive, or is the conversation like, oh, what can we do to empower this community? You know, not like, hey, what can we do to break down this community? Instead, like, how do we empower black people? I don't know. It's a whole fucking virtue signal.
Just to end this segment, because I'm over it, even though it looks like there's time left.
Yeah.
Do you care about finishing the 10 seconds?
And it's okay to learn new things every day. In fact, it's encouraged to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Who knew?
Cool. All right. So I want to end the segment by saying that the people from the bar probably reacted like all that trend on TikTok right now, where people are like, I'm not going to be a customer here anymore. And then the people behind the register are like, like,
oh, yeah. Oh, you think they mocked him a little bit? Yeah, I don't know what happened in this situation. We're only getting this person's side of the story, but I don't respond well to performative acts of tears. I think that there's ways that you can cry genuinely on the internet, but it's almost only if you're on a stream and you just happen to cry. You know what I mean? Like I personally wouldn't want to cry and then make a video about me crying. I think that's pathetic. Have your moments of crying and tears, have those moments, and then process the way you need to, and then go to the internet and express yourself. Hey, this happened, and this is what happened here. I respect that. I don't respect people who do performative crying, because you shouldn't be trying to cry publicly. If you do, that's okay. But to go out of your way to do it is, to me, you're desperate to garner attention. That's what I perceive that as. At that point, it's very difficult for me to take what they're saying as genuine or true when they're trying to invoke an emotional response from me intentionally. And I feel like the way that this probably happened, and I don't really know, is they went to a bar, they ordered some drinks. Somebody says, here you go, ladies. That was like older. They started, getting upset about it. Like, oh no, we're actually not non-binary, blah, blah, blah. And then the bartender, I don't know, was being annoying. And then they were being annoying back, and they just started an interaction, and they're like, fine. They took the drinks, and they're like, and they still kept complaining. And so they're like, get out of the bar. And it's still wrong of the bartender, but I doubt that it went down the way that they were saying it went down. Whatever. I feel like this interaction probably was not even close to as triggering as the normal person is dealing with. Yet they had this meltdown about it. So, yeah.
Their bio says the pronoun gal.
What?
Their bio says the pronoun gal.
Bro, I'm not trying to be that guy. How is your bio gonna say the pronoun gal, and then you're gonna get upset when somebody calls you a lady?
Here you go, gals.
Actually, I'm not a gal. It says it on your bio. Wow.
Well, that's the bio, not the person.
I don't think that this person has any fleshed out idea about anything that they're experiencing.
No, I don't think continuing to talk about them is going to be productive.
It's not, but to be honest with you, this seems like the kind of person that's only dating somebody in the LGBTQ community as a shield.
To be LGBT.
And they don't even care about their partner. I'm not trying to be rude. I know that's a drastic reach, but this is just the energy I get. I want to be part. It's like I want to be part of this community. It's like some fucking white activist desperately trying to date a black person just so that they could say that they're doing it. And like include themselves in the community and go, well, I have a black boyfriend, I have a black girl. I just feel like that's what they're looking for. Like they're just I don't know. I want to advocate for the LGBTQ community. Let's talk about fucking neo-pronouns. I don't know. Let's talk about the lack of access to healthcare that fucking like trans people are getting. Let's talk about something fucking productive for once. They're shock performing for attention. They're getting validation for doing dumb shit, talking about neo-pronouns, which even if you think are valid, are not even close to the next step on what actually needs to be progress for trans people. And like, but they feel like this is productive. This is helpful. It's not helping anybody. People are pointing and laughing. You're giving the conservatives an excuse to be toxic to trans people, and it's the conservatives' fault primarily. But you know what you're doing. You're not being productive. You're not being helpful. You're not helping anybody. You're having a negative impact on people. That's all it comes down to. And then all you're doing is educating a bunch of dumb, probably non-trans people to sit here and look at your content and go like, oh, look, I'm an activist. I follow lesbian Snow White who identifies as a gal but gets upset when somebody calls him a lady. Like, oh, makes perfect fucking sense to me. Like, I'm totally, oh shit. Like, I'm fucking shitting and coming. So. Cool segment. I think we're done with that one. And get out of here. Jump scare. All right. Well, I think that we've hit our time for today. What do you think?
Sure.
Do you want to do more?
No, not really.
We're at like 3.5 hours. So
this might have been the longest one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we had a. Oh, we're doing our. We're not doing a thumbnail now. You want to do a thumbnail? This is the thumbnail, guys. Wait, what's the tone of the video? It's like somber. Just be normal. What are you doing?
That's my resting face. Is it not?
That's it. That's the thumbnail now. That's the thumbnail.
What is it? I didn't get to see it.
Whatever that is right now is the thumbnail. That is the I'll show you. This is going to be the pictures that we use on the thumbnail now.
Listen, I feel like that's pretty accurate of us.
You like that? Are you fine with this being the thumbnail?
Yeah, I think so. That matches the tone of today.
Okay, fair enough. That's the thumbnail, guys. This is what we're operating with. I love you all. I appreciate you stopping by. Take care. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.